That's it, everyone. It's over. Pack it up. Go home. Hey now, boys and girls, show 162 coming at you here on Teal Town, USA. That's right. Welcome back to the unfiltered, unedited, uncensored, commercial-free Sharks podcast. Holy crap, we're done! We got 3 Sharks games to talk about. We got a whole goddamn season to talk about. We're going to give you our playoff picks. We're going to have a jersey giveaway tonight. Oh, it's going to be fun. It's going to be fun. For those of you who thought it'd be done in 2 hours or less, guess what? But first, if you're new to the podcast, remember to subscribe, follow us on the social media, and if you want to support the content that we deliver, keep us commercial-free, you can donate by using that super chat option right here during the live show, or throw a little something in our Venmo jar at Teal Town USA. That's where we're at. And if you are not watching live on the UBTube, make sure to add your take in the comment section below. So, this is it. Boys and girls, it's wake-up time. It's go
Last
time.
Pucknologists ever.
Until October.
So, well, we'll see.
Well, shit, you were off for 2 weeks. How about you, buddy?
Was I off for 2 weeks? No, I wasn't.
I don't remember you being here last weekend.
Oh, 2 weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I see what you mean. I see. I got you. The season is finally over, and I'm very happy about that. Like I said before, a while back, once things are officially sort of buttoned up and the Sharks are not going to the playoffs, it's hard to be excited over small trivial things. Like if the penalty kill goes from third to second. All right, like who cares? Like it's not going to matter the next time the Sharks play a meaningful game. So.
And it's going to be quite some time until they do.
So they say. People are saying.
Many people are saying. So, how did it wash out? Well, let's see here. They went 0-2-1 to end the week. Not a single win.
Hell yeah.
Ugh. Through 82.
Dude, that's exactly what we wanted. Dude, the Sharks have everybody right where they want them.
Oh, dude, 3% chance. Lottery, baby.
Still a chance.
82 games this season, and the Sharks finished with 77 points. Now, through 82 games, I had them at 82 points. So, not bad for picking in July, off by 5 points, but can't call me a pessimist. I had them finishing a little better than they ended up doing, but...
You were optimistic that they wouldn't suck as bad.
Yeah. And no disrespect to Doug Wilson, but this team was, in fact, as far as people thought. Worse, even. Vegas had them at 83.5. So for Doug Wilson last summer to sit there and go, we're not as far as people think, you are. The Sharks went 3-7-4.
In really quick, in his defense, I don't know that he specified what exactly the Sharks are far away from.
The cup?
Well,
worst record losses ever?
Yeah, people may say that it could be the other way where we're not as far away from something else, and
we're not as far away as from setting the record of most 1-goal losses.
But we're not as far away from a third losing season as you think.
The Sharks got 3 wins in 14 games in the month of April.
Dude,
you like apples?
Dude, this is exactly like I said. They have us right where they want us, dude. This is exactly, what the plan was. Obviously, no. I mean, it's like I said. I think. Anything after, like, you've been talking about it for like over a month now, as soon as that E gets burned in next to the name, it's kind of like, it's hard to get up for it. It's hard to get up for it. And, you could make the argument, well, the Sharks probably want to end the season on a good note. And I agree with that. But at the same time, the Sharks are going to have a new GM God willing, they'll have a new coach.
Ooh.
And so, I don't know that finishing on a good note is important when certain individuals might not be here next summer or next fall.
Are you trying to say some people might get the Spanish Archer between now and October?
It,
Any of those people work here?
God, if you're fair and just.
So, 10 wins over their last 39 games, dude. Finished 6th, just like last season. Yay.
Beautiful.
So, it was 3 games, and what can I tell you? I mean, it's a 5-2 loss in the final home game versus Anaheim. In that one, we're going to burn through these, man. Kakinen started 2 of the last 3. At pre-game skate, Bugner says that EK65 is shut down for the season, which is what we mentioned would happen, I think, in the previous show, maybe 2 shows before then. Kind of, I don't know, curiously wondering why it hadn't been announced already. Was somebody going to be scared if he came back? Oh no, Carlson's back with the team.
Yeah, dude, it's a work. It's totally a work. Oh man, they their power play might go to 30th if he comes back. It's a work. It's
it might
totally
have the jerk
a work.
bump.
Yeah, it's a work, dude. That's how it's the
oh no, not 30th.
it's the mystery of it all. You know what I mean? It's the intrigue. It's what gets people coming back.
Sure, fine. It's like our show. Zegras scores on the power play. Total top shelf.
That's cool, yeah.
Dude, Kakinen had no fucking just when you see something that nice, you just go, okay, go ahead. Like it was just too nice. Comtois 2-0, Milano 3-0. Burns finally makes it interesting with a power play goal, and you got Reedy with a tip in off of a Magnus shot. But when all was said and done, after Mahura made it 4-2, you knew it was over because the Sharks' D was nowhere to be found in this game. It seemed like the Sharks, honestly, they blew the wad against Vegas. They were so juiced. You saw Timo just lose his shit when everything was, said and done. Chiefs flexing, plugging his ears.
Yeah, he was blocking out the haters.
Right? And this is the Sharks' 3rd game in 4 nights. I feel like at this point they had just, blown the wad over the weekend between fan appreciation night versus the Blackhawks, then the big, adrenaline rush versus Vegas. By the time Anaheim came in, they're like, yeah, who? Whatever, sure.
Yeah, the tank, the way I would explain it is, if the Sharks were a vehicle, after, at the, I would say, 57-minute mark of the game against Vegas, the Sharks were at E. And they, the tank was at E, and they were fortunate enough that the gas station they were trying to get to happened to be at the bottom of a hill they were at. And so they were able to just roll down it, and it was awesome. They were going so fast.
I'll go full Matrix. There is no tank.
Yeah, it's, I don't know. I mean, I think when it's a lost season, you're not going to the playoffs and there's a lot of uncertainty kind of across the board. I think that's all that you really have left is fan service, right? And, the fan appreciation game was a good game. The game against Vegas was a good game. I mean, when, you get to that point when you're a crappy team where all you have to play for is fan service. And I think prior to this week, the Sharks delivered. Kind of a different story, but whatever. Again, the season is over. I don't even remember 2021. I'm looking forward right now.
Oh, no, I feel you, but we are going to have a little bit of a look back during this show.
Sure.
Look, the story of the night in this one is a fan getting over the promotions department. You all saw it. It all went around on social media that somebody, whether they bought a Sharkygram or bought so many tickets, whatever it is, that you're allowed a message on the Jumbotron or the center hung scoreboard or the video board, whatever you want to call it. And
how old is that one, by the way?
I want to say 14 years.
You sure?
I could do the math. Do you have a calculator? But if you take the first letter of every word of a seemingly benign message, somewhat confusing to some, but take the first letter of every word. It says "fuck the Knights." Now, there's a couple articles. This blew up on social. We saw some borderline plagiarism on some of the articles, to be honest. Over something for me, dude, this is pretty fucking benign. But I remember when I hated too, when I too hated fun, it lasted about 5 seconds. But, dude, there's a few people that, I don't know if you guys are looking for clicks, but to, get this swept up in something that had it not been explained to you, you wouldn't have ever noticed,
Yeah, it was a fun acrostic, to kind of see out there, right? But I know words. But...
Dude, I'm going to be honest, dude. As soon as I saw that message, before I even read what it was about, I read 3 letters in because I've seen so many of those types of puzzles that as soon as I saw it, I went, "Oh, here we go."
It's just, it reminds me of that meme that was kind of passed around after the game against Vegas, where you have, it's a close up of the runner, they got the champagne and the medal and they're all psyched, right? And then it zooms out and they're in 12th place.
Yeah.
It reminded me of that meme. Solid. I do, as we're fans of a little secret message, an acrostic, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
But again, it felt like, again, like I said earlier, the penalty kill going from third to second in a meaningless season.
Well, and let's
cool.
be honest. Let's just call it out, dude. Whoever approves these messages, dude, they're going through everything with a fine-tooth comb. They go, okay, what does every second letter say? Okay, what about all the last letter? Every message from here on out is just going through the fine-tooth comb. It's going to be great.
Oh, yeah, there's no way it's not. If anything looks out of pocket, it's going to be heavily scrutinized. They're probably going to...
What about if it's the first letter of the first word, the second letter of the second word, and the third letter? It's going to be a lot of fun. The attendance in this one, to wrap everything up, 13,378. Remember this year, huge. This season, the record was set for lowest tickets. It was 1059 versus, I should say 10,059. But 1059 versus the Buffalo Sabres early in the season. So I thought, I thought they were going to go lower when they had a game versus Arizona, on a Tuesday in December, but evidently that was not the case. But provided that the COVID numbers stay down, there are no more mandates, we'll see how and if attendance bounces back next season. Go ahead. I can hear you.
Here's the thing, and we've talked about this all year. There's a thing. There usually is. But we've talked about this all year. The quote unquote real fans,
oh boy,
are still at the game.
True that.
It's the I'm not disparaging anybody for when they decide to turn on the game, but it's we'll say part-time fans.
You're talking about the ones who set a clock during intermission for 18 minutes?
See, you would make a valid point, but you're failing to mention that kind of activity occurs even in games that are absolutely god-awful.
I feel you.
But it's we've talked about it before. This show, After Dark, Discord, anywhere that people listen, we've talked about it. The people who want to be there are there.
Right.
I would be very surprised if the attendance average goes even lower. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. But I might be shocked if it goes up next season. If
I guess it depends on who's the coach.
Or the GM.
Or the GM. Or, the second highest paid defenseman.
Well, this season, San Jose, they finished 29th in attendance with an average 12,573 tickets distributed. Mm-hmm. Remember, that's not sold, that's distributed. But that's 71.6% of their barn on average. Now, that's just above Arizona, Buffalo, and Ottawa. That is not company you want to keep when you are talking about attendance.
No.
But to prove the theory that winning cures all your ills, Tampa Bay was number one. 100% sellout across, average of 19,000, and what have they done? Just won the last 2 Stanley Cups. So
yeah, well, even
you
it's
want to
not
put
even
butts in the seat, be a winner.
Yeah, but that's the thing, right? Is like when winning the Stanley Cup is like it's kind of the cherry on top. We've seen in the past, even with past Sharks teams, right, where like you don't even have to win the Stanley Cup. You just need to be good, and people will show up.
Mm-hmm. Completely. What's Ian saying here in the chat? I don't begrudge people giving up season tickets, though. It's important to note that making a personal financial decision does not make one less of a fan. Absolutely, because I've gotten into that beef before, where it's just kind of like when somebody, if you make whatever decision, and then somebody's going to come along and go, "Oh, you're not a real fan." It's like, how are we going to start? You want to see my office? You want to
Right.
You want to compare receipts on how much money I've spent on this team? Like, don't ever tell somebody else that they're not a real fan if you don't know jack shit.
No, and that's the thing is your financials have nothing to do with it at all, right?
Sure.
You can,
but that's what I thought was so funny. It was just like,
right.
What do you want to compare as a real fan? Like, I know LeBanc is not, is still on IR.
Oh my God.
I remember Bob Airy was the captain in '94 when they made the run versus Detroit. Like, I was there.
That's the thing. It's not, it has nothing to do with money. It has nothing to do with like what you know or what you remember. I think it has everything to do with, supporting the team with your time, I think, more than anything, right? Whether you go to the game, you watch on TV or listen on the radio. But the big thing for me that's always that I've always kind of held on to when making that point is I've heard people who say, oh, specifically like after they lost to Pittsburgh in the Stanley Cup Final, oh, another year where they didn't win the cup, I'm not a fan anymore. And it's like, okay,
30 other teams that can say the same thing.
Well, that's what I'm saying is like that has nothing to do, that has nothing to do with money spent, right? Where it's like, you can spend $0 on the team and still be the biggest fan,
That's what I'm saying.
But what I'm talking about is you have the people who think that like,
well, dude,
winning the Stanley Cup is like the job that you hired them for.
You have people seriously that will sit there and go, if you say anything remotely negative about the team, you're not a real fan, you're a hater.
Right.
And it's just like, dude, if I wasn't a real fan, I would be completely apathetic. I wouldn't give a shit.
Mm-hmm.
So miss me with that fucking you're not a real fan bullshit.
Yeah.
Like that's just some nonsense up in here. But once again, I feel like we've gone off the rails yet again.
That's fine.
The Sharks head up to Edmonton. It ends up being a 5-4 loss in overtime. Reimer with his final start of the season. Chief was fucking tilted he didn't get that 20th win. You saw him at the end of the game breaking his stick over the net.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, that was some straight Pekka Rinne shit right there. Hey, Gregor scored twice in 26 seconds, and everybody lost their mind. First career 2-goal game, and we're like, can he finally score? Remains to be seen. It was all San Jose early. You got Reedy tipping in a burn slapper, just like Pavs used to do there on the power play. But look, on this one, I mean, God, there was some interesting shit going on. You got Kane kneeing Merkley, no call. Burns got a huge hook, no call. But the Sharks started hot, and they kind of slowly cooled, and by the end they just fizzled out with bad D. Burns standing out for me in this one. Like Burns, this was not a good defensive game for Burns.
Well, and I think the old adage, right? You see this all the time. Like good teams find a way to win, bad teams find a way to lose, and I feel like that kind of credo was on display in this game against the Oilers.
You're not wrong, sir. They found a way to lose this one. That was tough sledding. And over those two games, that each one they scored a power play goal, but just could not keep shit out of the net. They let in power play goals in both of those. Finally, we end up with Seattle up in the Emerald City. If you saw us on Instagram, our man Puck Guy up in there taking all some cool photos of around what Key Arena? What's it called? Climate Pledge. I'm sorry, that just sounds like an industrial solvent I'm supposed to clean with. It doesn't sound like I don't know, but. Kakkonen gets his final start. It's a 3-0 loss. Of course, the Sharks give an expansion team their first shutout in team history. Why wouldn't they? And on a day when the NHL sets the single-day record for most goals scored, the Sharks score 0.0.
I just feel like this game and the game against Anaheim, it's... I feel like it's just adding more kind of more ammo to the I want to give Kaapo Kähkönen a hug argument. Like, this guy has done nothing but play good hockey since he's come to the Sharks, and he's only got 2 wins in 11 starts to show for it.
Yeah. Well, and how many of those losses that Kähkönen has been on the wrong side of has it been by 1 goal? Because the team in front of him couldn't produce a single extra goal,
Well, that's what I'm saying. 2-6-1 record, and you're thinking, oh, man, this guy sucks. Why did we give up Jake Middleton? But
it's like lost 2-1, lost 3-2, lost 4-3.
Right, but you look, .916 save percentage.
Oh, you love to see it.
Like, it's, dude,
Chester Chivo calling it out. You know how you went to Vegas? Puck Guy went to Seattle, didn't get the Puck Guy bump.
Dude, I've seen.
There's only the jerk bump. There is no Puck Guy bump.
It's funny. I'm trying to do some quick. I'm trying to do some quick math in my head here. I've seen the Sharks this season. I saw the Sharks more away from the tank than I saw them at the tank.
Oh,
so
shit. The one versus Seattle, dude, this is just like the encapsulation of a blue balls game, man. Just lots of up and down, no finish.
Can I be honest with you right now?
Whip it out.
I was I dozed off quite a bit during this game. And when I went back to rewatch the game and sort of take my mental notes for doing the show tonight, I thought, wow, I didn't miss anything.
Dude, because we had Puck Guy on the scene up there in Seattle, I'm running the GIF program, I'm doing the Giphy GIF over here. Didn't take up a lot of my night.
Yeah.
I mean, not a lot to pull down, but that's the way it is. Like I said, Sharks finish 0-2-1 to finish this week. 32 wins on the season. It's not great, kids, but if you listen to us from the beginning of the season, it wasn't unexpected.
No.
So, stock up here. This could take a while because not only is it for me for the week, it's also a little bit for the season I want to get into. So, just to go back to your point, Jerk, Kähkönen, 2 of the last 10 games he started, dude pulled a .916.
Beautiful.
With his last 6 starts, pulled a .933.
That's kind of what I was saying before, right? Where I said it.
Were you saying
last
that?
time,
I don't listen to you half the time. Go ahead.
Last time I was on 2 weeks ago, I was saying, look, we like Jake Middleton on this podcast. He's very respected in this house, but when you get an opportunity to
don't
get
you
somebody
use that fucking word.
when you
chance. Look.
When you have the slightest of perfect moments to get Kaapo Kähkönen, and all you have to give up is Jake Middleton, like you're the idiot if you don't do it.
Hey, now, like I'm really hoping this kind of ends up being similar to the whole Suomela Barabanov thing, where
I would be surprised if it wasn't.
Yeah,
go ahead.
Like in hindsight, you come back and you go, "What the fuck were the Wild thinking?"
Yeah, exactly. Well, and that's a situation, right? Similar to Barabanov, a team, and I don't think I don't think it would be fair to look at that team in a couple years and say, wow, they're so stupid. Look what they did. Mm-hmm. Because, it's a situation where you're sitting on a good asset, but you don't have a way to get the most out of it, and so you're kind of painted in a corner, and you have to get rid of it. And it's, it just so happens that the Sharks have been on the positive side of that now 2 deadlines in a row. I don't know.
All right. Well, stock up. Bonino. 5 goals, 6 points in the 8 games that happened just before Anaheim. So last 9 games, but we don't really count that game against Seattle. We're going to go full Curtis Brown. We didn't like it, so we won't count it.
Mm-hmm. It didn't happen.
Yeah.
The Sharks didn't score, so it didn't exist.
Yeah.
Imagine what would the Sharks spot in the standings be if all the games they didn't score were written off?
Yeah. Oh, dude, amazing.
Best team in the league. They score every night, dude, literally.
I was going to say, that being said, if I remember correctly, dude, I think the Sharks were only shut out like 6 times this year. Wouldn't have been that big of a deal. It's like they could score 1. They just couldn't manufacture the extra. But, Bonino, didn't start off strong, but you have to like what he did towards the end of this season. Maybe getting put up on the wing instead of having to, trudge along on the third line with Nieto and Cogley, the O-line.
Right. Well, and Bonino had a really good season offensively last year, and he also played the wing for the Minnesota Wild, and so I'm thinking that's where things are going to trend. Now, if he is going to be on Couture's left wing, I have no problem with it, as long as the right winger is not Matt Nieto.
Oh, it's going to be Kevin Labanc, right?
I mean, him or whoever the Sharks get after they trade him. But
I'm telling you, dude, Couture with Bonino and Labanc, that's a hell of a third line.
Fair point.
All right, then. Noah Gregor. Here lies Gregor. He never scored. No, this week, last 8 games, 6 points, 4 goals in those 8 games. Like we said earlier, potting 2 versus Edmonton with family in tow, no less. You got to love that.
Yeah, I think I wanted to mention it kind of in the stock up for the season, but we'll talk about it now. We said on our our season preview show.
Who? We?
One of the things we said was we're expecting Noah Gregor to get a look. Put Noah Gregor here. Give him an opportunity. We were very into him.
Give him a what?
And give him a moment in the sun. And he got sent to the Barracuda right away. And you and I weren't very happy about it. And he shown, I don't want to say he showed that we were right, but I think he showed that he was worth a longer look, and we've talked about it for a while now, but ever since the NHL first shut down to COVID 2 years ago, Noah Gregor was playing very well and never really had a chance to kind of rekindle that moment until this year. And so I think for the last week and a half, the last season, I think if you're giving out the most improved award, it's Noah Gregor miles and away. Most improved, biggest surprise, scrappy underdog of the year, whatever you want to say.
Well, I'm just saying this team doesn't need another Matt Nieto. You know what I mean?
No.
Torrey Mitchell
Right,
2.0. Sure. We don't need a 3.0 here. Do I want Gregor in the conversation for the Selke? I mean, fine. But Chief does need to finish, and at the very least, I like the way he finished this season over the last couple of weeks. Maybe we'll see something different next year. You get a couple of different line mates rolling with him, and maybe there's some chemistry there. Dude spends his entire offseason just target practice. I don't know.
Well, it's amazing what happens.
Brent Burns looks like he's available to play with kids, so get out there in front of Gregor.
Well, there's 2 things to think about with Noah Gregor. Number one, when you have a historically awful shooting percentage, you're going to have some hard moments. I don't think anybody's
in
disagreement there
this season.
Oh, I know. But there's that, but also imagine what you can do when you're playing with guys who can get you the puck, right? I mean, we didn't really know what to expect with Thomas Bordeleau. He came to play in the few games he did play. He had an assist, 5 of them in the 8 games, and he played very well in a short run. And then obviously Rudolph Balcers, who we're both big fans of, he's very good.
No slander.
Yeah, very good defensively, very good at getting the puck, and that's the kind of guys that Noah Gregor needs. Gregor needs guys who will get him the puck, and he finally got that. He needs to not have a historically awful shooting percentage, and he finally had that at the end of the season. I think big things are coming for him. I hope anyway.
Not to be outdone, Scott. Fuck. I'm just all over the place. Reedy, my man, 4 goals, 5 points in the last 8 games. So also 4 goals. What have you thought about Reedy?
He's a very tough player. Like, he will go. We always say, go to the net, put your stick down.
I wouldn't say knuckle dragger.
No, not at all. No, he's a very greasy player, and I don't mean that like he's clipping guys and he's dirty. Like, I mean that like he's he will go to, if you say, if you can get to this square foot on the ice, you'll get a goal. He goes there and he makes it happen. You know what I mean? And he's always got his stick down. He has the strength and he has the mobility to get to those areas. And I think he's been kind of a revolution a bit for this year. I don't think everybody was sleeping on him per se, but I don't know that this was expected either. I mean, 7 goals to end the year. He was 1 behind Noah Gregor, who had been on the team most of the year. And if we're hat tipping the module a little bit early, 5 of 7 were high value, and 5 of his goals had a modifier. So
and I would imagine Reedy TOI a little lower.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I think because he was kind of all over the place, right? Like, he was on the 4th line, the 3rd line. I think he played wing up top. He was
like the
definitely
Swiss Army knife at one point.
Yeah, he was definitely that guy who it for me anyway, it felt like a mystery. Like, okay, where is he going to play today? Is he gonna center the 3rd line? Is he gonna center the 4th line? But you look at the stats. I mean, Scott Reedy ended up averaging just over 11 minutes of time on ice per game. Noah Gregor up at 15 minutes, so 4 minutes less. And there's more stats you can dig into. I don't think personally, in everything I know, 21% shooting percentage is not sustainable. But hey, ride it while you can.
Well, another stock up for me over the last week or so. Brent Burns. He's also in my stock down. But Brent Burns, I mean, points in 4 straight games. But this is what we've come to expect from Burns, is that, Erik Karlsson isn't in the lineup. Now's my time to shine.
It's so weird how that keeps happening.
But like clockwork, brother.
Oh, yeah. No, I've been – and you know what? And my frame of reference is the Vegas game. But that game, you don't have Karlsson. You're wheeling out Magna and Malash on the second pair, right? And I thought Burns, yeah, okay, his penalty in overtime was not so great, but I thought Burns played really well in that game. And I feel like there's a couple nitpicky things here and there, but generally speaking, I thought he finished the end of the season relatively well.
You get to the point now, if you see like Ferraro, anybody else who goes starfish, you're like, fucking Burns.
Yeah.
So on the season, we're and there's gonna a lot. I got to warn our affiliates. We're gonna run long tonight, but and everybody who's kind enough to watch us and join us right now, this is gonna be a long one. So strap in, grab your cocktails, grab your waters, hydrate, smoke them if you got them. But we're gonna be here a little bit. Stock up. Oh, and we will have our giveaway in a little bit. Stock up for the season. Like, give me 3 names that maybe came in, like Timo is the easy choice, obviously. I'm talking give me that player where you're just kind of like, all right, way exceeded maybe expectations that you had coming in.
Well, I kind of clued in on it a bit earlier, but Noah Gregor, just because for one reason or another, his stock was pretty low, not even getting a fair shake to make the NHL and starting in the AHL, going from there to kind of being, locking down the 3rd line, being a power play and penalty kill option. and being one of the most consistent players for large stretches of the season. He comes to mind. I think another that comes to mind, again, maybe you might say is an easy one, but I still think it's worth mentioning, is Alexander Barabanov.
Oh,
There
dude,
was
all time stock up for me. He's like number one on the list for this season.
Well, and that's the thing. And you look, okay, so 7 points in 9 games, and the question that we had coming into the season was, is
that a small sample size?
well, as you say, is that a bug or is that a feature, right? And he's comes in 39 points in 70 games. I think the ice time he was getting, I think if you wanted to be picky and kind of a Debbie Downer about it, maybe you want more from him offensively, but I think what he's getting paid and kind of all the nonsense he had to go through this year, being scratched at the beginning, injured, COVID, I thought he had a very good season, and I thought he did a very good job at answering the question of, is this a bug or is this a feature, right?
Yeah, dude, straw that stirred the hurdle drink.
Yeah, well, and how many sort of, I know Hurdle and Meyer is kind of the big pairing, but how many different trios did you see where it was Hurdle, Barabanov, and then you saw Meyer there? You saw Dahlin there. You saw Balsers there. And he's just got, he's maybe a 45-point guy, but if he's getting the puck to your big players, like you need that kind of guy, right?
Yeah, like you're sitting there looking at what Hurdle put up this year. A large part of that, Barabanov was on, was a reason for that.
Absolutely, and I think, there's not a lot of excitement. I mean, there's, you can say, like, I would say kind of an honorable mention would be Jonathan Dahlin, because coming into the season there were no expectations.
I would disagree with that. With Dahlin, I think there was some expectations there.
Well, there was I mean, if you want to be technical, there was an expectation he was going to be in the NHL.
I say that just because of how everything went down with Vancouver, and the whole thing was like, will he or won't he? And it just seemed to be like, I'm not going to sign here unless I'm guaranteed like, second line minutes minimum, blah, blah, blah. Like there seemed to be a lot around of it. Like, okay, Chiefs coming in, his Johnson's been here 5 minutes before he got here. Like huge BDE. And for the most part, early in the season, I was like, okay, kid's making a point.
Yeah.
Dude, I got to be honest, man. By like Christmas, I was just kind of like, really? This guy was like, trying to bend people over? Fuck out of here.
I mean, we talked about it a couple weeks ago, but, I'd be curious to know what comes out now that the season's over, but I wouldn't be surprised if his injury had bugged him all year.
Okay.
That wouldn't surprise me, but also kind of got, he unfortunately was the recipient of the jam job quite a bit. And that's hard to navigate no matter who you are. And then I would say Erik Karlsson, he finished the season on injured reserve, but if you want to break it down and look at the season in phases from last year, last year, historically down year, the worst year of his career if you take out his rookie year. And then he comes in this year, yes, not healthy, which is a problem. Not consistent towards the end of his season this year, definitely a problem. But when the Sharks were in the hunt, as they say, he was a big part of that. And I think that's important to mention.
Okay, I suppose I'll give you that. But, I mean, Chief missed 30 games, bro.
No, and that's what I'm saying. I think you could put him in the stock down category as well.
Okay, thank you. Appreciate that. Another one for me, stock up, Ryan Merkley.
Yep.
I liked it. Would have been nice to see him not get the jam job on a few games. Seeing players like not to take anything away from a Milosh, a Magna.
No, take it away. Take it away. It's okay. You can do it.
Even a Shimmick. But there were definitely a couple.
Still on the team.
There was definitely a few times where Bugner scratched him, and I'm like, "Fuck, are you doing, dude? You are putting a team out that already has a problem finding an extra goal, and you're gonna say, oh no, Burns, Carlson, we got enough of those kinds of players. We don't need a third one. Are you kidding me? Like, it makes me wonder how much ice time Merkley would have gotten if Carlson didn't sit out the last whatever game, 12, 15, whatever it's been. You know?
Unfortunately, I mean, we've talked about it quite a bit the last few weeks, but whatever you think about this team, they're in a youth movement. You know, the idea is you play young players and you see what they have. So when you have a coach doing these things to Ryan Merkley, to Jonathan Dahlen, we're saying, you know what? We're good. You make too many mistakes. It's like we've talked about, like, failure is the ultimate teaching method. You know, you need to mess up in order to know what not to do next.
Meanwhile,
it just felt very hypocritical to say we're in a youth movement. Look at all these rookies we've had play, but you dig into like the ice time and shifts per game and all that stuff, and it's like you're not telling the whole story.
And meanwhile, in a post game, Bugner's asked about Magna, and he really wants him like 1,000% to be here next season.
I mean, you know, that doesn't surprise me because I've always viewed Magna as an AHL defenseman, and Bob's an AHL coach, so it makes sense.
Whew. Okay. Boy, we're just spitting venom in every direction. Just wrap it up, everybody.
Dude, we're off.
We're off until October, everybody.
We're off until October. Nobody's gonna remember. And you know what? Not for nothing, right? But you know, Ryan Merkley was only -10 this year, and I know you say, "Ooh, -10, that's awful." Yes, it is, but
it's not great.
Right. But
what's Erik Karlsson at?
Erik Karlsson -14.
Oh!
And now, granted, Karlsson and Burns, I take them out of it because they play way more minutes. I don't even look at them.
Sure.
But Radim Šimić, less minutes, -13. Nick Milosh, a minute and a half more than Merkley. He was -17. You know, Jacob Magna somehow found a way to be -1. Good for him.
How much time did Balsers get on the power play over the entire season? About 23 seconds?
Oh, well, I don't even want to talk about it. But point being is we, you know, there was all this awesome stuff said about Nick Milosh, right? But you dig into it, like, for only playing, you know, Ryan Merkley 15:23 per game, Nick Milosh 16:53 per game, literally a minute and a half to the second. Is a minute and a half extra ice time per game, does that equal being an extra -7? I feel like I feel like 90 seconds is not a big enough difference to be okay with an extra -7.
Well, the other thing that I kind of look at here, let's get Ian's comment, but Milosh could develop into an important number 6. Oh, hold on, he had to turn off the sarcasm key. The thing with me, it's like it was pretty obvious to us, and you listen to what they were telling the media. There was a lot of that, you know. What was your gag about it? It was something like we're close to being close.
Yep.
Yeah, that kind of a thing where it just seemed like they were blowing smoke for a long time, trying to say, you know, well, if we just string together a couple of wins, yeah, but you're not going to. So stop that. So to know very early on that this was essentially going to be yet another lost season, why not give more opportunities to a cat like Merkley, especially if you're looking at the roadmap down the, you know, little further down into the future and thinking, hey, you know what? This summer, we got this big bearded guy that might get us some assets back. That, boy, he could free up some cap space. But we got this kid back here who can do a lot of the shit he does. Maybe we should give Merkley some more looks. It's a lost season. There's nothing to lose except getting him more experience, more acclimated to the game in the NHL level. I don't know. Seems like something I would have done.
Well, and that's what, you know, that's what I said when Bordelot signed his entry-level contract. What did I say to you? I said, I don't care if he's the worst player on the ice. I want him to play every game. And he did. And so why can that same logic not apply to Ryan Merkley, to Santeri Hatakka, to Jonathan Dahlen?
Mm-hmm.
You know, like, when you're in a youth movement, you generally shouldn't
move that youth.
you generally shouldn't be scratching your young players because they make normal young player mistakes.
Yeah. Dear Lord.
Like if you really want to get into the weeds, let's talk about some of the normal young player mistakes that 37-year-old Brent Burns makes, because there's a lot of them.
There was certainly a ton on display versus Edmonton last week.
That's what I'm saying.
All right. Well, I think that's a good
stock up for the season. I got one more.
Yeah.
This podcast. I feel like, and what I mean to say by that is I feel like, this is our, if you can believe it, this is our 6th season doing the podcast, and I personally feel like we still get better every year.
I feel like we got better as this season went on.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Had some tough talks.
a lot of
come to Jesus meetings.
A lot of carpets were worn out and walls were punched.
You right? But yeah, no, I would completely agree with that. Okay, let's get to the fun part. Stock down. The Sharks, again, still haven't signed Barabanov, so like I said, you shall remain there until that happens.
Perpetuity, as they say.
Burns, again, horrific D this week. Like, I had him stock up for the points, but dude, that was some bad D. This is going to be unpopular, but you know what? James Reimer, he was my MVP for the season, but for his last 10 starts, dude, he had an 894 with a 320. Like, Martin Jones had better numbers.
Which is hilarious because that's a significantly lower bar.
Dude, that's what I'm saying. So to see Reimer, but again, though, you got to put some of that on the team in front of him.
Mm-hmm.
And, I mean, he was so good early on. And how, imagine where this team had been if it was Hill and, I don't know, Kozanash. Could you imagine?
Right. Well, and imagine...
Dude, they'd be battling Arizona and Montreal for worst.
Right. Well, and imagine, Hill and Kozhinosh, but also imagine where I don't want to say that the team would miraculously be in a playoff spot, but imagine where the team would be if instead of doing 1A, 1B, 1A, 1B, the Bob just went with hot goalie. There was a stretch where Reimer was the better goalie, but Hill was playing. There was a stretch where Hill was the better goalie and Reimer was playing.
Mm-hmm.
And, I feel like that sort of takes the blowback off of Reimer a little bit because he is on the stock down list. But it is worth saying. Like, I feel like, I don't know, you could say the goaltending deployment was fair, but I don't know that necessarily makes it right.
Fair. Yeah, exactly.
Did you see what PJ said?
Dude, calling us out. I feel the podcast didn't give 100% in the corners. I'm going to take you into a corner, PJ. Anyway, stock down for the season. Somebody who came in and maybe the expectations were of a certain level and Chief did not meet them. Look, I'm going to start. Dude, Erik Karlsson. Dude, finish a goddamn season, play 72 games? Is that too much to ask?
Well, and the thing that's confused me, and we kind of broke it down. We went into the weeds on it a couple weeks ago. For a guy who avoids contact like the plague, how are you getting banged up so much?
Dude, please tweet that right now so I can remember it for later and then pin it to my own Twitter.
Like,
dude, that is brilliant. Somebody put that in the chat right now.
I hate
Jeff's kiss.
I hate to insinuate that he's injury prone because I'm one of those people who doesn't believe that he is injury prone. I think it's a situation where, I bet if you really did a deep analysis, the things that Erik Karlsson is dealing with are normal bumps and bruises that everybody's dealing with. It just so happens that he's out of the lineup for it, and I can't say why. I really don't know, but you look at it and dude, we've talked about it numerous times. My kind of perfect defenseman is that guy who initiates contact. Oh, you're in the corner. I'm not going to blow you up, but I'm going to put a shoulder on you. You're trying to skate by me along the wall. Well, how does glass taste? Like, you need to be physical as a defenseman. You look at Erik Karlsson. He only had 18 hits, which is way too low. I mean, Brent Burns, who I personally think Brent Burns doesn't hit enough, he had 55. Jacob Megna 71, Jake Middleton 89, Radim Šimić 96, Mario Ferraro 140, Nick Malash 158. I don't like Nick Malash as a player, but god damn it, he is physical in the right way, and I like that.
And you know what? I think we neglected on Stock Up to put Mario Ferraro in there.
There are some people who may disagree with you.
Okay, but I mean, you hear about dude for him laying it out on laying it all out on the line,
right?
Like I don't think anybody expected him to have that many blocks.
Sure, that's fair.
So I'll give him that. But to back to Ek and his thoughts on the injury. Here's what he had to say during his exit interview.
And it's nothing bad. As I said, if we were in a different situation, it probably wouldn't have been an issue. But being where we were, for the first time in my career, I put myself first.
What was that? For the first time in my career, I put myself first. Hold on. Can we run that back again, please, in the truck?
And it's nothing bad. As I said, if we were in a different situation, it probably wouldn't have been an issue. But being where we were, for the first time in my career, I put myself first.
Yeah, that sounded better. That sounded better.
What's with the goofy laugh track?
That sounded a little more on brand.
Jesus.
I put myself first. Get the hell out of here. So, who else stock down for you overall on the season?
I think
I can't put Vlasic there because I didn't have much hope for him to begin with.
I was going to say Radim Šimić because I was not expecting him to be what he was his rookie year, but I was thinking, okay, bad couple years, injuries are behind him. Let's see if he can be a serviceable defenseman. And I thought there were nights that he did actually play pretty well, but generally speaking, over the course of the year, I thought it was more of the same of the last year and a half. And so that's not to say he failed to meet my expectations, but I thought he was primed for a bounce back, and it didn't really feel like he took that.
And winning my overarching season-long stock down award, we grant it to you, Mr. Lane Peterson. How is this guy signed for another year? How? How is your head not exploded from that?
I think if he had just started the year in the AHL,
you've been fine with it, right?
Yeah, because he probably would have played in the AHL, and
stayed there.
Not even that. Played well in the AHL, got confidence, got feeling good, and maybe he comes up and does something. But he kind of, we give up a 4th-round pick for this guy, and he has to go through waivers. Keep him in the NHL even if he's not ready. I almost kind of wonder. I've done a lot of thinking about this, and I don't think it's fair to say he's a bad player. I think he had his confidence rattled a little bit.
Okay.
Another stock down for me over the course of the season, but also specifically for this week. And again, he is at the bottom of the ocean, and he's found a way to go even lower. Bob Boughner. Did you know that the Sharks power play, which went 2 for let me see, what is that? 2 for 6 this week. The Sharks power play that went for 2 for 6 this week featured Rudolph Spalzers a grand total of 0 minutes and 0 seconds.
So, Bob, you're saying stock down just for the week or overall in the season? Because I would have him stock up on the season. Okay, I would have him stock up only because, let's draw the linear line here. It's being thrown in. After PDB gets a Spanish Archer, he gets thrown in, unable to choose his staff, all the shit that he has to deal with there. I mean, dude, when you're attached to Roy Sommer, like you're already, swimming upstream. Right. Then the next season, it's the bubble hockey or whatever you want to call it, where
the hub divisions.
Hub division. Okay, fine, but you got to deal with that where you do your entire preseason camp, everything in Arizona, and then first 14 of 16 or 12 of 14 games, whatever, you don't even get to play in your own home barn. Like, a lot went against him. And then even coming into this season, like at the last minute, Rocky Thompson bows out, so you got to find somebody to replace him, and thank God McLean was there. But
I don't know that I would say thank God, but go ahead.
Well, I mean, better than nothing. And when but when Bugner was out, I thought McLean filled in admirably.
Sure.
But if I remember correctly, during those games that McLean was in, the Sharks had a winning record. Like, they were doing good.
Did. Yeah, they did.
Yeah, so I would say that's all a net positive. And on this season, bringing together the team, let's be honest, this season was about changing the culture back away from whatever had poisoned it. There's somebody going to say Kane. There is some will say it was something else. But when you listen to those exit interviews from a year, 2 years ago, Martin Jones saying the team splintered. They went their different ways. I know there are a couple other players that kind of hinted towards that. You know, these players, everything's, they're like wallpaper. You can't get a read on them. You don't know what they're saying half the time. But a lot of them talked about the team did not come together when the chips were down. And this season, they seem to enjoy playing hockey again. They seem to enjoy playing with each other, playing hard for each other. Mm-hmm. For as long as this season has been circling the drain, and I think Ian broached this at one point in the last week or so, might have been on last week's show, but the one thing you can't fault Bugner for, these up until the end, well, okay, maybe not the Seattle game, but up until the end, these guys still played hard as fuck for each other.
Yeah.
And you didn't see that the previous two seasons, and I think Bugner should get a little credit for that. And
I do, the things that you mentioned, I do agree with. Generally, I think the culture was better, the camaraderie was better, the ability to battle back, I think, was better. But at the same time, Ian kind of made my point for me in the chat, saying he got the team to play. Congratulations, you're the coach. And I think that's a good way to put it. And we were big fans.
We've seen teams quit on coaches, though.
Sure, but I think, we saw last year, Bob was not afraid to hold people accountable, even if they were making a lot of money or they were number one in their position. That went away this year. Bob,
Vlasic did get scratched this year.
Okay, once.
I was going to say, I remember that game quite specifically.
And think about the last couple of years. Bob recognized what Ferraro brought to the team, played him more minutes. Recognized what Knizhov brought to the team, played him more minutes.
For whatever reasons, did not recognize what Balcers brought to the power play.
That's what I'm saying. And so, the holding people accountable went away this year. The giving young guys opportunities went away this year.
So, okay. So, I mean, to be fair, you can say certain things stock up, certain things stock down. So, as it stands,
I would say more down than up, but
okay.
Sure.
Okay. So for you, with Bugner having one season left on his current deal, you are in favor of a GM that goes, Bob, you've been great here and during both of your tours of duty, but we're willing to go in another direction now. Is that where you're at?
Yes, and I made the point.
You should have said something earlier.
I only noticed it a couple minutes ago. I've made the point before where if the goal is to acquire young talent and draft picks and all that stuff, who cares if the coach is bad, because the team is going to be bad anyway. I agree with that mindset 100%. However, if you're in a youth, like we talked about earlier, if you're in a youth movement and the coach you have isn't going to play the young guys, doesn't matter how good or bad they are, they need to go.
Cool. I can agree with that. I can get on board, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
So, I feel that's a pretty good. You know what? One more I might say kind of stock down, and maybe this also comes from the Erik Karlsson department of staying healthy. Adin Hill. I think he had a,
he had a bad beat, I think.
Perhaps. Yeah, perhaps. I mean, you look at what his last game was like, a shutout, and then you never heard from the fucking guy again.
Dude, he wanted to go out on top.
Dude, I know, right? but I'm going to be real interested to see how the Sharks handle their goaltending. They've already said they're not carrying 3. It would make sense that Reimer is the one that you heave ho. But then again, I also talked about his last 10 starts weren't the best. So, we're in a what have you done for me lately league.
See, the point you're making, you're thinking with in your mind, you're thinking age. And I think that's okay. Man, what team doesn't want 2 25-year-old goalies to flip back and forth between? But
correct.
But what I'm saying is, I think if you go with Kakinen and Hill, you're basically saying it's another year of one up, one down, and we'll see who's the better goalie. If it were me, and you'd be selling him at a loss, but if it were me, I would see if somebody's interested in Aiden Hill, and I would keep Reimer to be the wily veteran, and I would just give Capo Kakinen a majority of the starts, whether he wins or loses.
I agree with you on that. I completely agree with you on that. That is the way I would go.
Okay.
Yeah, but I go back to what you said though. It's like, man, that's some shitty PR to have to fucking deal with. Giving up a second to get him, along with Kozanash, and getting him back with a 5th, and now you let him go, and it makes you wonder, like, what would Hill be worth right now?
Well, especially because
it's
I
not
think,
at the deadline. It's at the
right.
It's going to be over the summer, which means even the value's even going to be less.
And I do think Hill will get traded, right? Or I don't want to. Sorry, I misspoke. If Hill is the goalie to go, he will get traded. I don't think the Sharks are just going to, actually, you know what? The point I was going to make is not a valid point anyway, because he has next year under contract.
Yes.
But what I was going to say is, think about the optics of it, right? You give up a second for Hill, and then you trade him at a loss this summer. Well, what about last year? You give up a 3rd for Ryan Donato, and then you just let him go for nothing.
Yeah, those are a couple kicks in the balls.
And again, I don't myself personally, I don't think a rational person would see a narrative there, but somebody would say, "Oh my God, we traded draft picks for guys that we didn't keep." And I think I don't necessarily agree with what they're trying to say, but I understand where they're coming from.
Yeah, but that's total Doug Wilson. Not the Doug Wilson school of thinking, but
right. And Ryan Donato is not some elite superstar player by any means, but
who the hell is Ryan Donato?
But as an aside, like, I thought he would have been a better option for the third line. As much as I love Noah Gregor, he would have been a better option for the third line than Noah Gregor was at the beginning of the season.
Jerk, is Seabrook your burner account?
No.
Oh, okay. Let's see. In before
I do notice a lot of people are campaigning for me to be the next GM, and
dude, you were campaigning for it.
Well, yeah, and people have clearly jumped on board for some reason. So, Jonathan Becker. I think you need to give him my number.
I did appreciate the tip.
I did. You know what's funny? I was like, I was listening to your chat with him from this past Friday, and he was like, oh yeah, he said you asked him about the GM. Right? Yeah, you asked him about the GM, and he was like, oh, it's your partner in crime, and I'm like, yes, I'm moving up the ladder. And then he said, yeah, Eric, and I'm like, what?
Oh,
I'm like, no, I'm the partner in crime.
Oh man. So all right, well,
that was a good listen though.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, he again, another guy who sometimes can be like wallpaper, but
I definitely think what you guys talked about is not going to appeal to everybody, but I thought as a listening to two people have a conversation, I thought it was really good.
Thank you. He's always fun to chat with. Doesn't tell me a lot, but he's fun to chat with. So look, I can see the desire to, it's like the easy call here is to go, well, 3 seasons and he sucked all 3 years. Well, first off, it wasn't a full 3 seasons. It was 2.5, right? For Bugner. So,
and I feel like this season, because you asked me the question 2 years ago, and I said not fair to judge. You asked me the question last year, and I said not fair to judge. This year, it is fair to judge.
And you are Team Spanish Archer.
I am.
Okay, and I can agree with that. That look, you did what you were asked to do. Bring the team back together. And now
he's a transitional guy.
yeah. And dude did his job. Again, I wouldn't mind it if he stayed on as an assistant. Like the players really seem to respond to him. You can look at the PK. You can look at a few things that he's done well. Burns got his Norris under Bugner's tutelage.
He's got to be like, I'm just thinking about it. Like you said, the guys are really receptive to him and all this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Like he's got to be like hilarious or something. You know what I mean? Like maybe he's really funny. Like he's always got a good joke or, I don't know. But
two hockey players walk into a bar.
Like I just, you're right. The players do like him,
mm-hmm.
but it's like, I don't think it has anything to do with winning.
Yeah, that is kind of like the key. So let's get into a couple more things here coming out of the exit interviews, which a couple of which were rather interesting. Vlasic, you know what? Let's end with Vlasic because there's a lot to unpack there. Let's finish off with Evander Kane stuff. We'll try to pull the laugh track on this.
That type of change hasn't happened here in a long time, so I don't really know how that will go over, how it will work. But usually when new people come in at positions like that, things are going to change, and quite frankly, things are going to have to change.
So you got Kane. You got Carlson talking about that. Things have to change.
And I like that he said that. Like I know there's a lot of questions about his commitment and his leadership abilities and all this kind of stuff. But
are you talking about Carlson?
Carlson, yes.
Oh, okay.
But him saying that things have to change, I think is spoken
Look
like
in the mirror, motherfucker.
No, but what I'm saying is I think him saying that, he's being a good leader in that moment. He's saying we need to do better. Things need to get better. As you say, your big thing, your favorite thing in the world is acknowledging reality. And that's exactly what he's done this year. He did it at the exit interview last year. We have good players here. We're not rebuilding. We need to be better. This year he says things need to change. He's coming out and he's saying what is what. Now, granted, do some of the things that need to change are the way he plays? Yes. But I like it much better than, it seemed like there were some other comments where it's like, well, yeah, we lost, but like we're all friends. It's like, okay.
Kumbaya.
Yeah, like friendship circles don't win the Stanley Cup. Last I checked.
And I like Chris coming in hot. There once was a hockey player from Nantucket. Do you get that, or are you too young for it?
No, I got it.
Okay, just making sure. Evander Kane might have, or Jesus Christ, I can't get his name out of my head. Erik Karlsson might have been the only one during the post game or the end of season exit interviews, the only one that dared speak Evander Kane's name.
Yeah, I mean, I again, we're not playing a sport where, one guy can make it or break it for you. We're all part of everything, and I don't think that he was the source for, any really, like, it shouldn't really affected us the way that it did. And, obviously it turned out the way that it did this year, and everybody's talking about how everything, chemistry-wise is better. So again, I don't think that it's full onus on just Kaner leaving and, us figuring it out. I think it's on all of us. I think we made a, conscious effort this year to try and, be a little bit tighter and play a little bit different for each other. And that was one of our goals, and that's one of the ones that we succeeded with. Unfortunately, it didn't take us where we wanted to go, which is, to be in the playoffs.
So again, spoken, and I know I'm going to get heat, spoken like a good leader, didn't say me or I or, any of that, spoke about the team, spoke positively about the team, and, was very honest. And whatever you want to say about how he played this year, I appreciate him saying those things.
Yes, that I will say. And called it seemed to be kind of an ongoing thing in the exit interviews. Acknowledging reality that we need to score more.
Mm-hmm.
That this was a team at one point second in the league, hasn't been above 25th since then. That's something that needs to be addressed.
Right.
So let's get some talent up in this bitch. The captain in his some comments on the season from Logan Couture.
Yeah, this was, a very weird season. It felt like almost 3 seasons in one. We had so much going on. Everyone around the league was dealing with COVID and the shutdowns, and we had our GM, Doug, stepped away, and there was almost some uncertainty there with what was going on. So there's just a lot that happened, and I thought we dealt with it extremely well. We showed up and worked very hard. Our coaching staff kept us prepared on a day-to-day basis. So, there's a lot going on, but as a team, we stuck with it and, kind of ignored the outside stuff.
So what do you think about Logan there?
I don't know. It was hard to get what he was trying to say at first, but again, you listen to it and it doesn't feel like any sugarcoating or any rah-rah cheerleader nonsense. Like, it feels very open and very transparent, and I don't necessarily want to go there, but very contradictory to how other mediums for this team sort of put the opinion out there. Like,
oh yeah, I feel you.
Refreshing to hear people connected to the team being honest about the situation, giving their true and legitimate thoughts and kind of where they think things need to go, as opposed to, like, I don't think Couture was whiting out the E next to the Sharks game, on the bulletin board, but you know what I mean? Like, it's nice to hear the honesty for a change.
Yes. Yeah. But to be fair, and something that I say too many times, but it should also be acknowledged that anytime a player was asked their opinion about Bugner, because obviously the GM thing is swirling in the background, and they were asked about what do you think about Bob potentially being replaced, so on and so forth, and it's Ferraro's out there going, I really like this coaching staff. Couture saying the same thing, Brent Burns saying the same thing, and I listened to it, and they all seem to be very rah-rah, circle the wagons around Bugner, which I get. They've become tight with him, and that's fine and everything like that. But I also kind of go the other way, and I go, well, what else would they say? Especially
right.
if it's a guy who like a Balsers or a Dahlin or so, somebody who's just going, yeah, I did Balsers. Yeah, he's okay, but power play would have been fucking nice once in a while.
Right.
Is that what he's gonna say?
Well, so I don't know if you saw
fucking Hurdle. I don't like Bob much. He don't play me with same guys enough. I hate him.
So I don't know. So I don't know if you saw, but Couture posted on his Instagram story a picture from like the the escape room group, and they were all holding up like signs. It's like, oh, best teammate. I escaped first. Nonsense like that, and somebody sort of photoshopped it to all the signs to say different things, and the one with Balsers, it just said "F you, Bob."
That's fucking glorious. I wish you would have sent that to me. I would have posted it during the show. That's awesome.
Yeah, there were some other things in there where I was like, probably don't want to share that out there, but
no, I like it. Chris, our buddy, we miss you, man. Coming in hot. Does any player ever throw the coach under the bus? Of course, that was the point I was making earlier. It's like, what are they really going to say?
Well, especially when he's your boss and he's probably 15, 20 feet away from you. Like,
yeah, like within hand throwing distance.
That's why most of these, kind of hot takes, if you will, from the players or from the coaches comes late in the off season or from not North America. The exception being, obviously, I don't know if you had your eye on anything coming out of the Winnipeg Jets locker cleanout, but there's a lot of controversy going on over there, let me tell you.
Oh, just because of how good Kyle Connor is, or
no, it's just, maybe we'll talk about it on Discord, but Mark Scheifele talking about, I don't know if I want to be here.
Oh, shit. Okay.
Yeah, and Paul Stastny saying that some of the players didn't play for each other, and
so similar to kind of what Jones said last year, where you get some splintering going on. All right.
Right.
That's kind of
Yeah,
interesting.
maybe that'll be something we talk about in Discord.
Yeah. Oh man. What was that first line?
Well, I mean,
What
Mark
did Scheifele say?
yeah, he said a whole bunch of stuff, but kind of the message that it was is like, oh, I need to, basically saying I need to look out for myself, and I don't really know what's going to happen, and
Yeah, see, everybody for the Sharks, they seem to be a bit more congealed. A little bit better than that. Chris, again, acknowledging reality isn't everything, but it sure as hell is necessary as a first step to fixing things. Yes. Yes. Ian saying Bob is a great assistant coach. He's just miscast as a head coach. I would agree with that. Now, here's the cherry on the exit Sunday, if you will. Vlasic, I don't want to say he was full-on Draisaitl pissy, but let's just say that there was an error about it. First, let's get to him talking about his potential buyout.
Is there any concern on your part that the organization might buy out the rest of your contract?
No. Why would they? Well, I'm not worried at all. I signed here, they signed me, so I honor the deal.
So Chiefs wear, they signed me, I signed here, all honor the deal, all while wearing a shirt that says loyalty. Dude, that is not a misfire. That wasn't something that he just saw in his closet and said, "Oh, I haven't worn this in a while." Dude, he knew he was going to be on camera. I guarantee you that was a calculated move.
Well, and as
for him to sit there when they sat, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt, but for him to sit there where they're like, are you worrying about being bought out? And he's like, no, why? Why would they? And it's like, because you suck. They're paying you $7 million
right
as a 5'6". That's why. Like, are you completely out to lunch?
Well, and Vlasic kind of comes off as a quiet guy, but he's never
quiet, but dude,
yeah,
caustic.
But he's never been afraid to speak his mind. He with all the Olympics nonsense, years ago, I think it was before 2018, he's tweeting the NHL, "Hey, what do you think about this coming year's gold medals?" And he's, there was a player interview talking about the CBA, and he was the only player that chose not to be anonymous. And he came out and he was like, "Yeah, escrow sucks and I hate it." And, stuff like this, the buyout and talking about getting scratched. And I do think there's a degree to him kind of maybe resting on his laurels a little bit, but I also give him props for standing up for, how he feels and what he believes in,
Oh, without a doubt. I mean, his convictions, bar none.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I got a kick out of the fact of just him, are you worried about being bought out? Why? No, why would they? Have you seen your stat line? Have you seen your, contract?
Well, and it's been mentioned a couple times, and nothing, I don't know, the way it was framed on 32 Thoughts, Elliot said, and Jeff, both of them said, I wonder if the Sharks look into buying out Vlasic. And even though that was strictly this popped into my mind and I wanted to say it, that doesn't pop into your mind unless there's a reason for it. Even if there's no truth to it and there's nothing that backs it up and it was legitimately just a thought. No thought is random.
No. Yeah, right? There's something behind it. This is a new one. Talmai G, I hope I'm getting that right. This person puts, "My ex is a lineman," and says Vlasic is an ass. Now, obviously that's hearsay, but we welcome you to the podcast. But that's an interesting take. I mean, I still go back. One of the funniest, moments I've ever seen with Vlasic was the road to the stadium series or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And the whole, he goes for some hit or whatever, and Vlasic's like, hey, easy, fuckface. And the LA play, did he just call me fuckface? I don't know. He calls a lot of people that. So I love that about him. But I felt, dude, I feel like Vlasic might have got a little pissy when the time on ice question was broached. So let's get into that.
Considering I had limited minutes, third on the back end in points, more physical this year. So imagine if I played more.
And why do you think there was limited minutes?
That's not for me to tell you.
Of course, you want more ice time, right?
That's not for me to tell you. I just go out there and help the team win. If I'm on the ice, no matter how many minutes I get, that's my job, to help the team win. I never complain about ice time. I just go out there and do what I have to do to help this team win.
Dude, okay, I'm sorry. I love this, dude. I never complain about ice time. And he literally just said, hey, I was third in points on the blue line or whatever. Imagine if I had more ice time. Dude, that's literally complaining about not getting enough ice time.
I don't know that it's complaining more so
it's a
being
subtle
like,
dig,
being like, hey.
It's a sub-tweet.
Saying, hey, makes you think.
Yeah. No, it's definitely that.
You know what?
But,
like
dude,
I said, the convictions, like I love that. I love like that. I quite enjoyed hearing that. Some people may say, oh, he's so rude. Why does he have to be that way? But you know what? Like, again, he's being honest and he's saying exactly how he feels, and I appreciate the hell out of that.
Yeah, but I don't know. Boy, his do you where he was asked something along the lines of is there a reason why you don't think you got more time on ice? Well, that's not for me to say. Well, I mean, you might want to look at your stat line, but okay.
And Ian also making a good point. Remember that season? I want to say it was last season or maybe the year before, where he had multiple game misconducts for yelling at the referees.
Yeah, dude, I remember there was one, like, he literally caught a 10-minute misconduct at 19:59 of the third period.
Yeah.
That was fantastic. Because Chief does have some good chirps.
Yeah.
Oh, man. All right, he's got some good chirps. But let's finish off this season, if you will, to the StatCast. Power play, they finished at 19%, which was good for 22nd in the league, which, to be fair, that was pretty much where they were at all season. Went down to 23 or 24th at one point. I think it got as high as maybe 18th, but kind of stuck there for most of the season. The PK, again, second year in a row, stellar, 85%, second in the NHL. So that's whoever is taking care of the PK figured out 5-on-5. Like, how is it that you're able to deploy 4-on-5, but 5-on-5 not so much? I don't get
Right.
Face-off percentage, they finished 49.6. At one point, they were like at 54. They were, I think, like top 6, top 7 in the league. They ended up finishing 17th. So probably need to work on that as coach. Now, again, and this is the overused comment, to be fair, how many different centermen did they have switching in and out of there? I mean, you saw Bordelot in there. You had Cogliano in there. You had Couture in there. You had Hurdle in there. I mean, there was just so many. It was a revolving door. Couture and Hurdle probably taking the lion's share, but the guys taking the third and fourth line. I mean, it was, one day it's Reedy, one day it's Weatherby, one day, you know what I mean? So.
Well, and that's the thing. You had a lot of, just looking at the stats right now, you had 1, 2, 3, 4. You had 4 guys, Hurdle, Bonino, Weatherby, and Couture, who took a majority of the faceoffs this year. And everybody else, they took decent. Bordelot, Peterson, Reedy took a decent amount as well. But the rest were mainly situational,
Yeah, exactly. But still, when you're dropping in fresh face, the pimple faces against the grizzled vets, they're probably going to start off their career at they're going to be less than 50% on the draw.
Right.
But on the blue line, overall, you had 34 goals and 117 assists. That's good for 151 points over 82 games. That's 1.8 points per game coming in from the blue line. Not horrible by any stretch. I think it's a slight improvement over last year, which is all you're hoping for. And perhaps some of that came from the fact that Karlsson, when he was in the lineup, had a little bit of a bounce back year.
I'd be curious to know how that compares to other teams around the league.
Absolutely. That's something we'll have to run the numbers on. What's your final? Give me your top 5 in the module. How much did it really fluctuate this season?
The top 3, say it with me. The top 3 is the top 3. Timo Meier, Tomas Hertl, Logan Couture.
What a
not even close. we saw the top 5 kind of bounce around a little bit. It ended up being Bonino and Jonathan Dahlen to finish out as 4 and 5 up there. But, Burns was up there, Barabanov was up there, Rudolph Balcers was up there, Carlson was up there. You saw the 4 and 5 spot kind of bounce around a little bit. Something that stands out to me. So Scott Reedy, as we mentioned earlier, very quickly shot up the rankings of the module. He ended up finishing 9, 10, 11th, which sounds not that impressive, but considering how many guys played a game for the Sharks this year, he's in the top, I don't know, I would say top 30%. Interesting also to me, all the words that are said about Noah Gregor. He had 8 goals this year. 7 of them were high value goals. The one that was a medium value goal was his final goal of the season.
That's great.
So, I think there's a conversation to be had there. Is, kind of the whole point of the module is, did you score a lot? No, but you scored when it counted,
No. You want to know what the module is all about, people? We have the word.
You gotta. The guys who score big goals are way more important than the guys who score lots of goals. So you break that down.
And we have
the Daryl bump.
Daryl bump.
Love Daryl Sutter, but there's something to be said there, and there were some other interesting ones as well. Brent Burns and Alexander Barabanov as well. 7 out of 10 high value. I think that's obviously exciting. The other side of it, not so much. You didn't really see a guy who got a lot of empty net goals this year, or a lot of 6 goals in a 6-0 win, if you catch my drift.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing that I thought was interesting is, Gregor was 10th on the module with only one of his 8 goals had a modifier. His goal against the Coyotes on March 20th was a game winner. That was it.
All right. I did see a comment here. I mean, I think we can probably look at it now, just touch on it, from Ricky saying, when do we talk about target UFA guys? Mason Marchment?
Mason Marchment, I think a lot of people are going to be sniffing around him, but definitely a buyer beware kind of situation.
You don't think there's I don't know, any draw to the Sharks because, it's like, do you know who my dad is?
I mean, was his dad really that spectacular?
I'm not saying he's that spectacular, but I'm just saying that, it's
Mush,
like,
as they call him.
Maybe I want to, go play in the, for the team that my dad works for. Or
maybe
if you're like another guy, you're like any team but that one.
Right, exactly. I don't know. I think Mason Marchment is a decent player, but definitely buyer beware.
All right, hold on. David, when you come in hot on the Super Chat, you get right in.
Hey, shout out to David.
Shout out. Thank you for a great season of podcasts. Looking forward to the show again this fall. Thank you, David. Looking forward to having you back on here. That's fucking...
Didn't you hear? This is our last show.
Until October, you fucking...
No, I know. I'm just screwing around.
Is there anybody else that you... I mean, because... Like, Ricky, to be fair, I would love to talk about that stuff, but... Honestly, until we get the GM thing sorted out and we know who the coaching staff is going to be, like we have some sort of a idea of what the team identity is going to be, I don't know. I feel like you're just, it's just walking around a room in the dark.
Well, and it's hard to, it's hard to sort of to think about that. You know what I mean? To postulate.
Yeah, speculate, whatever. I mean, because the GM could come in and be like, you know what? All these people tripping on Barabanov, fuck that guy. Well, I got my eye on this other dude over here. It's going to be way better at the same price.
Well, and we have no idea what's going to happen. We've had it happen where, you go into the summer and you say, oh man, this was so good. Like we got to do this again. And then that player is just gone. I'm wondering, and I would like Brent Burns to be traded this offseason, but I'm not overly confident that he will be. But think about how many people are going to say, ooh, you need to start next season with Ferraro Burns as the top pair, and then Burns won't even be here. You know what I mean?
Oh, dude,
like,
not only
you
that.
see things like that all the time. So I personally think it's way too early to speculate on who might come to the team because we don't even know what the team is going to need.
Exactly. And not to mention the fact that like you have like 7-8 RFAs that need attention. You know, you got to deal with and not that this is a big thing, but it does.
Really, the only pressing one is Kakinen and Ferraro for me.
Kakinen and Ferraro, but I think
Dahlin as well.
I think John Leonard might get like a little 2-year bridge.
Yeah.
You know, low money and like get healthy, pal.
Here's the thing.
Same thing with Chmelevski. I thought Chmelevski got better as it went on. Do I expect him to be more than a bottom six guy? No, but I thought the times he was deployed correctly, I thought he looked fine.
Sure, but I'm
taking him over Lane Peterson for Christ's sake.
Right. But I think honestly, like aside, so Kakinen, Ferraro, Dahlin, Gregor, those are my big four.
Mm-hmm.
Where like they are going to get a contract that's going to have some mystery dollar amount and mystery number of years.
So not Milosh, okay.
Right, but everybody else, and Barabanov, that's the fifth. That's my quintet of free agent question marks.
Okay.
But Leonard, Gadjevich, Chmelevski, Magna, Milosh, these are guys where it's like they'll take 1 or 2 years at under $1 million, but there's not going to be much thought behind it.
Yeah, but still, GM, because whoever comes in, call out the reality check, everybody. There are some fat and long contracts on this Sharks cap that need to be dealt with.
Well, and Ian has made the point many times, starting when Hertl got his extension, but you get Hertl to the extension and you talk about getting the team back on track. You don't do that unless you move a big contract.
Mm-hmm.
As you say, it's fait accompli.
Yes, absolutely. So, Ricky, long story short, when a new GM comes in, we'll be here for you, Teal Town Live, and we'll talk about that. We'll get into the direction that maybe we think stuff should go. I like it that I'm getting little
shout out to Laurel.
I'm getting pings on my phone about stories about EK65 missing the final 9 and Brent Burns and blah 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 blah. So anyway, Laurel, shout out. Sorry, trying to keep eyes on multiple things. Teal Town USA, thank you so much, Laurel, for the donation. Just wanted to thank you for another great season of shows, podcasts, for letting me mod as a super fan. Wish I could afford more. Hey, you do so much for us, moderating the chats on the regular. No, we appreciate you. Thank you. So we're super fans of yours, Laurel. I'm just saying.
Hey, now.
Let's go a little sideways here.
Sure.
For those of you who are unaware, the Barracuda released a new jersey this week on the 28th. It actually leaked out for a brief time on Tuesday, I think for about maybe 10 minutes on the Sharks Pro Shop site. And I don't know if somebody got fired, but definitely got the riot act read to them for leaking it early. But anyway, here it is. The first of 3 new Barracuda jerseys coming at you.
It's different.
See, I would disagree. I look at this and I go, okay, so stealth shoulder patches, stealth coloring, it's not different. You know what I mean?
It's different in the sense, though, that it's not.
It's like, what if we did the stealth jersey, but just one stripe on the arm?
Right. What if it was purple?
But, or move the second stripe on the arm up to the shoulders and gave them yokes.
Sure, but the point I'm making is, you look, every AHL team, their jersey is the NHL team's jersey, just with their logo on it. Where this, not that. You know what I mean? I know you're going to say you're going to make the comparisons to the stealth jersey, but I'm just saying like home jersey to home jersey. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, of course I'm going to make the stealth comparison. It's the same shoulder patch.
Right. I understand that, but it's not a it's not a hey bro, can I copy your homework? Okay, yeah, just change it a little bit. Like, it's actually a different design, and I'm not the biggest fan of it, but I dig that they did something different.
I dig that they did something different. The thing that I'm just not a fan of, and I told this to Becker when we were having our chat, was that the diagonal downward word mark, to me that's a Rangers thing. I don't like it on the Hurricanes. I don't like it with the Tampa Bay Lightning. I pretty like that's a Rangers thing. I'm not a fan of this. Somebody else pointed out, I think on Reddit or whatever, that for those of you who are unaware, San Jose has a fairly significant Vietnamese community. And in Vietnamese, Cu Da means old man. So it's like, oh, okay, so the San Jose Roy Sommers?
The San Jose U's?
So I got a kick out of that. But there were jokes, people. There were a lot of jokes. Somebody said that they should have, along with Cuda, before it and after, it should say woulda, coulda, shoulda. I like that one. Somebody said, man, this so plain, I bet the white jerseys just say Barra. And my favorite line was, I think they could have done better. I like this. Here's what I would have done. I would have gone this way. And again, because I'm just not a fan of the text word mark. Like the Sharks chomp font, because that is so unique. Yeah, I think that works. But that seems relatively, I'm not going to say Microsoft clip art, but it's like, for me, it doesn't pop enough. Now, this is all saying this without seeing it in person. I may see it in person and go, oh, man, in person, the letters are a little bigger and it pops more. Like, we'll have to see it that way. But this was one of the options that I quickly Photoshopped together, and this tries to stay in that kind of teal, the kind of stealth vibe, or what are they calling it? Blackout. Where it's got the outline of that teal. And then I did another version where it's a little more Sharks oriented, where it bites through the stick.
I like that one better.
Yeah, a lot of people, most people that I've shown this to, they really like this version of it, where it's the biting through the stick, because it's a kind of where it's still a nod to the older brother team. It's still, going back to that word, unique to this.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, this is probably the way that I would have went, but I'm not a jersey designer, so it's not my call. It's above my pay grade. But anyway, it's one of three, and we'll see what the second and third designs look like. Now remember, we talked with Eric Grundfast, who is with the Barracuda, and he said that some people from the AHL said that one of their jerseys, they were just over the moon about, never seen anything like it. They think it's just going to be a smash. I would venture to say it's probably not this one. But we'll see. Something else that Jerk talked about earlier, there was a mayoral candidate debate. That's right. We're going to have a new mayor come this fall in San Jose. 4 different candidates took place in a little chatty chat at SAP Center on Wednesday. Again, talked to Becker about it earlier. Now I can give you like my real take. To a certain extent, you have to, I don't want to say Pollyanna it up or anything like that, but I can be a little bit more honest in this form. Mahan, I hope I'm saying that right. It's either Mahan or Mahan. I think it was Mahan. He seems to be the most realistic of the 4. His background is like he was CEO of a few startups and tech background. He just got elected in 2020. So he's very new, and he's also quite dumbstruck by how long it takes shit to get done at a civic level, which, yeah, big shock there. But seemed to have some very good ideas. Again, I encourage you to listen to the mayoral debate, because whoever sits in the mayor's chair come this fall, they're going to have a lot to do with what happens to the SAP Center and helping drive all of the things that are going to go on around it. And so getting in and out of it, they're talking about changing Santa Clara Street to 2 lanes each way to 1 lane each way. The ingress and egress could be next to impossible in a couple seasons. So I encourage you to watch it. But for me, like if it comes to endorsement, yeah, right now I'm endorsing Mahan or Mahan, whatever it is. To me, the other 3, Chavez, Davis, and particularly Perales, they appeared to just deliver the same old political bullshit talking a lot, saying nothing. Davis was reading from sheets, looked to be like reading bullet points. And when somebody asked a question, she would like have to reference her sheet. And it's like, oh, okay, what's my talking point response to that question? You know, like just not authentic for me. And then Chavez and Perales, they're lifelong politicians where they're just, we don't need that anymore. Just, no more bullet points and platitudes. I want honesty, and Mahan seemed to do that. So again, you'd like to know more, see for yourself. The entire forum is on our YouTube channel. I had the chat with Jonathan Becker a couple days afterwards, both of those on our YouTube channels. I encourage you to go check those out if you have the time. So let's go a little bit further here, and I bring this up. We've had this on the Rundown Jerk for I don't know how long, because I keep seeing the question come up, and so I just thought it'd be a quick little 5-minute debate. Probably
5 minutes.
Yeah, I know. In hindsight, was winning Game 7 in 2019 against Vegas, was that ended up being a bad thing? Like,
No.
Okay.
Sorry, go ahead.
All right, you do want to keep this to 5 minutes. All right. Do the Sharks still sign EK65 if they get knocked out of that first round?
Probably.
If the 3-0 score stands up, do you think they say, hey, you know what? We took a swing, we missed, but no, we're, again, second in scoring. We don't want to upset the apple cart. Like EK came in, gave us something, but you know what? No.
Nope.
You think they still sign him even if they get bounced?
I would say they probably sign him.
All right, so then let me ask you this. In hindsight, was it wrong for the Sharks to trade for EK65? Now that we're 4 years out, I mean, I think it's safe to say it hasn't worked out.
Right, but I mean, I don't need hindsight to answer that question. I need the information I had at the time, which was we have a high-impact offensive defenseman. Why are we trading for another one?
There you go.
But that said...
all right, dude, 2 minutes. Fantastic.
But, winning Game 7, no, not a mistake, because for so many reasons. As Ian said, winning is never a bad thing. The Sharks, as an organization, make more money. You have a better chance at winning the Stanley Cup. I get to go to an away game in Colorado. Like, these are all really important things.
Well, and I would also go to say to what Ian's saying, the idea is always to extend. It's, I think, after being, burned by Billy Campbell, Bill Guerin, like, the idea of rentals.
That was so long ago, dude.
It was long ago.
2007 and 2006 2007 and 2008 versus 2019. That's like a different lifetime.
But that's what I'm saying, though, is that over the course of time, DW had changed his MO. Like, early on, he was looking at rentals, and it's like, if I get him to extend or whatever, don't give a fuck. This is for the here and now. Whereas later down the line, it's like anytime he makes a move like that, it's extension is always part of that in his mind. Just like early on, no contracts over 5 years. But, modified no trade or no move? Yeah, I got tons of those.
Well,
and then, whatever it was, 16, 17, 18 or whatever, whether it started with Brent Burns. Well, no, I think it originally started with Mahalik. That was the first one that he ever gave out that was over 5 years. And then he went to that point where all of a sudden, you get 8. Everybody fucking gets 8 after so long of only giving out 5 or less. So I'm just pointing out the fact that Doug Wilson, and you would hope that, somebody isn't so laser focused, like they get more and more information, and based on that, their ideas evolve.
I just think the points you're making about Doug Wilson, I think it's a fair point to make, but you also have to understand that, that's, we've seen kind of an evolution in the way that GMs do business, whether it's signing, trading, extensions, all that kind of stuff. And, you have to be adaptable and you have to be able to change your ways in order to stick around and keep your team in the hunt. And so while you, and when I say you, I don't mean you, I just mean generally speaking, while you might not agree with having to change your philosophy on the fly, that's the game you have to play if you want to stick around.
Sure. No, you constantly have to evolve. So, typey McTyperson is going at it. So let's get a little further into the NHL as a whole. Around the NHL, look, all the playoff teams are set. But before we go there, can we just talk about some fun that was had over the last week? I would enjoy
Is it actually
this.
fun?
I think so. It's fun for me.
Sure.
Let's get to our tweet of the week.
Oh,
Or
okay.
I may say tweets of the week, if you will. So what happened? Oh, look at this photo. Oh, you have to love it. This photo right here is going to be hanging on Hockey Jerk's wall in 4 to 6 weeks. But that was something you saw, tweeted out, and of course things you love to see, and we'll talk about Vegas in a moment. Something else that happened. Oh, eliminated from postseason contention. Oh, boo-hoo. But over the last week, look, how set was the East? Like the East was set by Christmas, right?
Pretty much.
Pacific, little more fluid, but over the last month or so, it was pretty much, okay, there's 2 spots, there's 3 teams. There you go. So it all came down to, Dallas, Nashville, Vegas. And then they're playing Arizona, and different teams have things to say about the teams that they might see in the playoffs. So first off, let's talk about the Avalanche here. We get a 6-round shootout, and that eventually went to 7 rounds. But after 6 rounds, nobody scoring. Colorado coming in hot. Pull the goalie. Love it. Then you got LA trolling, and this was a hard troll, bro. Vegas tweeting out, "We sure are glad we aren't a fan of another team that needs us to lose." LA Kings coming in. This you? When you said, "Hey, Anaheim, if you beat LA tonight, we'll ask Pietrangelo to give the breakaway challenge title to Zegras. Deal?" Dude, tell me you didn't love that jerk. Because that's a no, come on, that's a so jerk move. This you?
Well, yeah, but I don't know. I always find brand accounts operating like they're real people to be a bit weird, but
I like it. I think it's cool. I dig it. Finally, Gostisbehere gets in for Arizona when they're playing Dallas, and Seattle going, "Guys, can you please stop?" I'm sorry. I love that. I love it when the accounts have good back and forths like that. I dig that. So there was a lot of fun on the NHL had a lot of fun on Twitter. You know who did not have fun this week? David Riddick.
And the play read well by Nichushkin. Now a 2-on-1. Nichushkin sends it across. Saved by Riddick. And the rebound came back over the bar. Riddick makes the catch.
A little bit of acrobatics there. I think he got puck focused on the puck up in the air and got caught up on the net. And look at the guys laughing. I love it. But what a save here again. This is a turnover. You can't do that against the Avalanche. You're going to need your goalie to make a big save on Ratton, and he gets a shoulder on it. Focused all the way there. Whoops. I got the puck. That's all that matters. It looked like...
Poor David Riddick, but dude, that's going to be a GIF that goes for quite some time. Love it. Absolutely love it. What did you think?
I liked it when I saw it on Weird NHL.
Okay, fine. At the beginning of the season, dude, I told you all about Leonard. There are people in this chat that can testify. I told you, if he implodes, it's over. He imploded. It was over.
Well, okay, hold on.
To a certain extent, yes. Okay,
is getting injured an implosion?
Not an implosion per se, but it was just the fact that without Fleury, you know what I mean? Like, there was nobody that... Now, okay, Brossoit, definitely not the thing that you're going to, like, lean on and it's going to, not collapse, which it inevitably did. maybe if Thompson gets in there earlier, it's a different story.
For sure.
But I think if you have Fleury and Leonard, they're in the playoffs without a doubt.
I would even take it a step further because you have to understand Leonard was dealing. The rumors say many people are saying that Leonard is going to be recovering from 3 different injuries this summer. So I don't even feel like a different goalie would have yielded different results. I just think a healthy goalie. Yeah, sure, but what I'm saying is like I think if Leonard was healthy, the results are different. You know what I mean?
Well,
because it's and you make a good point. Like them, going from Fleury Leonard to Leonard Brossoit and then Leonard Thompson. Obviously, it did blow up on them a little bit, but I don't know that I would call that Leonard imploding because poor guy has had a bunch of bullshit to deal with this year.
Oh, absolutely has. But that was my whole thing is that if Leonard wasn't able to like be Fleury, essentially, that it was going to go sideways. And so that was, I'm tickled that happened because fuck Vegas, right?
Sure.
The interesting thing, of course, though, is seeing fans of every other NHL team actively rooting for Vegas to lose, and then Vegas fans wondering why. And I'm going, are you for real? Do you remember all the shit that you guys talked that first year? Are you kidding me? And you wonder why like an entire the entirety of North America is rooting against your team, and some of them will say it's jealousy, which of course is comically a biased take. But dude, it's from the outside. You look at how the Vegas franchise has treated their players, where they will always nobody has job security there. I don't give a fuck what your contract says. Nobody has job security there. It is as soon as a shinier toy comes along that does the job you do, you're out. You're gone. So the way that they treat their players, number one, the hubris that some of their players have displayed, or just Marchessault. I mean, the guy has got a stick rubbed against his ankle, and he goes down like he was sniped. Like, some of that shit. Now, I got all the love and all the time in the world for Marc-Andre Fleury. But, oh my God, some of those other players are a little sus. Okay? I'm sorry. Eichel, diva. Fuck that guy. I don't even care. But then the entitlement that the fans showed. And that goes proven. Go listen to our buddy Ken at Sinbin when he brings on some of the fans. That there's an entitlement there that you just can't get over. So when you wonder why all of the NHL is like actively rooting against you, it's because you've never tasted humble pie before. Well, enjoy it. Enjoy it this entire summer. Let it swirl about in the mouth for a little bit. Let it swirl about the tummy for a little bit, and maybe you'll get over that shit. And then we can start to talk about, having, being a little more humble. Oh, you made it to the final in your first season. Good for you. You have the same amount of cups as San Jose and Vancouver and Buffalo and blah, blah, blah. Like, fucking get over it. I mean, you told Fleury he was going to retire as a Golden Knight. Schmidt had a handshake deal. Fuck out of here.
You should really charge rent for the head in your space. Or the space in your head.
For the head in your space.
God damn it. See, this is what happens. You know what?
You had 5 minutes to put that together and fucked it up.
You know what? Moving on.
Oh, man, that was good.
So
no, it's just because I heard it so much.
No, yeah, for sure. Well, especially, it's funny because, so I can tell you, as somebody who is behind enemy lines,
Sure.
The all the stuff you're talking about, you never, ever hear it in person. You only hear it on the internet.
Well, and that's where I hang out.
Right, for sure.
But no, to be fair, no, I'd been to a couple games.
Have you been to a Golden Knights game in Vegas?
No. I'm talking about like when the Golden Knights play at San Jose and you got some people rocking the gold and they're kind of popping off a little bit. Like there's just an entitlement there. Like, I don't see that. LA has 2 cups. LA fans, nicer when they come to the tank. Ducks have a cup. Even after they had the cup the following year. I talked to Ducks fans when they'd come up for a game. Very cool people. For the majority. Vegas fans, at least with my interactions, the games that I've seen when Vegas have played in San Jose, people walking in with Vegas jerseys. Oh, dude. Big time entitlement going on. Acting like they got the biggest dicks in the room.
So I think, yeah, that's probably, I think that's a fair point to make. It's probably happened, but I know from the thing I would say is, I've seen the Sharks play in Vegas 5 times. Every time people have been nothing but nice to me. You know what I mean? So I wonder if there's sort of
that's in Vegas.
No, but what I'm saying is I wonder if a sort of the big dickness that you're talking about comes from kind of being behind enemy lines and being like, oh, we're in your hood and we're going to win. You know what I mean?
It was a bit more than that, but
sure.
You know what? I'll wear the camera next time. Wear the body cam.
So, me and the fiance, we were at Target today. Saw Mark Stone at Target.
Get the fuck out of here. Are you serious?
Yeah, so serious. Yeah.
Did you ask him how his back was?
Well, so here's kind of a funny story. So I think it goes without saying, being on the podcast, I'm the big hockey person in our house. My fiance is kind of, here and there, she'll watch some games with me and that kind of stuff. And so we're walking and I'm, I have the bag and I'm trying to, corral the receipt in my pocket and, put the card away, do the whole deal. And we're walking and she's like, kind of gets kind of close to my ear as we're walking. She's like, hey, is that Mark Stone? And I'm like, what? And I looked up and sure enough, there he was. He was, he was in line. He didn't go to the self-checkout. He went to an associate which I thought was interesting. But there he was.
Looking for that play a discount.
I saw him quick enough to recognize him. But obviously she...
Oh, he didn't recognize you? Sad.
No. I saw him quick enough to be like, yeah, that's Mark Stone. She obviously got to, kind of scan him more than I did. She said he was wearing a very nice floral patterned shirt and was buying alcohol. So... whatever that information means to you,
That's fucking great, dude. Dude, I would have been like, it would have been so funny if he was literally coming in there like it was, like the 10-gallon jug of vodka and then like a basket of golf balls.
And you know what?
Fucking great.
Would have been very heroic to ask for a pick.
Oh, how did you not?
Well, because first of all, it was very much a flyby. Like I said, she was like, hey,
still, dude, you find the way.
She was like, hey, is that Mark Stone? And I'm like, what? It was an in the moment flyby, but also like, I think about it like, he's just there to buy some shit and
doesn't want to get bothered. Just got
he's literally in the process of like putting his card in the keypad. I'm like, I'm not going to jam him up like that.
Yeah. But still, dude.
But just so like, I mean, I guess like so it's funny, it's funny.
Target. Mark Stone buys his booze here.
Well, that's the thing. I lived in San Jose for 24 years. You know how many Sharks players I saw out in the wild? Zero. And I'm starting. Remember a new conspiracy theory developing here.
You're not hanging out in Willow Glen, bitch.
Well, so like I said, we saw Mark Stone at Target today, and about. Oh, geez. Maybe a little over a year ago, we saw Derek Engelland at a different Target.
Man, you got a thing going on there. So, you know what? Hold on. A couple of things in the chat. Logan saying, people don't have the stones to say it in person. Exactly. That's why, you hear so much of it on social media, going back to the whole stuff with the Vegas entitlement and stuff. Because, dude, there were people literally wishing Pavelski death after everything that transpired with Game 7. Like, are you serious?
Well, what do they always say? What do they always say? One rotten apple?
No, it was more than one, bro.
Well, okay, but sure.
Yeah, but I get what you're saying. But still, just to even say that, fuck out of here. Yeah. Hot Wheels, in all fairness, San Jose fans are not very welcoming to even San Jose fans from out of town.
100% true in my book.
Wow. See,
Some of the douchiest hockey fans I've talked to are Sharks fans.
Okay. I mean,
and you have to understand, I've talked to a lot of other teams' fans.
Sure. I'm just, the fans, I'm just, Rolexing in my mind through all the different interactions that I've had, particularly when I'd like maybe bounce out to the smoking area, catch somebody over in the corner that's wearing a Kings jersey, Colorado jersey, Nashville jersey, whatever. I always kind of like went out of my way to go over there and be like, hey, so, are you a local fan that's from there? Or like, did you like fly in for the game? Like, what's up? And most of the time we had a great interaction. We'd sit, sometimes it'd be like, oh, drove up from SoCal for the game and first time I've ever been up here. And like, this is kind of cool, dig your barn here. And I'm like, yeah, it's not Staples, a little different, but yeah, we have a good time. We try to. And I'll sit there and, are you aware of San Pedro down the way? Kind of cool place if you want to have a drink afterwards. Is it, it's a good hang. But I've gone out of my way to try to be nice when I see out of town, guys and gals wearing jerseys from the opposing team, especially anytime I see the Yeti foot, I'm like, dude, old school Colorado, like it. Nice. I go out of my way, but I'm sure again, it's the whole thing of like every crowd has douchey fans. It's not that they're douchey fans. They're just douches in general.
No. And I do agree with that statement, but it's just, I feel like, it does
get
like
amplified on social media.
Right. Exactly. Like, I've seen a lot of situations where like Sharks fan A and Golden Knights fan A are having to calm down Sharks fan B. I've seen a lot of that.
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah. How much alcohol did? Oh, you know what? I apologized for that. Why are you bringing that up again?
Oh my God. Okay, moving on.
Yeah. Sharks Last coming in saying you can run into the boys at Santana Row from time to time, which
I'm not bougie enough to hang out there.
Fucking A. Hey, let's get into our playoff picks.
Finally, 2 hours in.
Dude, if you would like to win some stuff, play in that swag. Play in the Teal Town Bracket Challenge. You can go to bracketchallenge.nhl.com, search Teal Town USA Podcast, or just hit up Jerk on the Twitter and say, Chief, float me that invite, brother.
Or option number 3.
Wait a minute, hold on.
Click the link in the YouTube chat.
Oh, that's right. Jerkman coming in hot. But you just say, Jerk, do you have any invites I can borrow?
And unlike our Discord server, these invites will not expire.
And now. So
although you do need, I will say, you do need to get your picks in before
tomorrow, right?
But no, you need to get your picks in before the first game 2, whatever teams are involved, before the first game 2 begins. However, if you send in your picks after game 1, you are a hero, and we'll probably delete your bracket.
Hey now. So what we're basically saying is get in tonight or tomorrow a.m. at the latest.
Yeah. You can get in later, but we're gonna look down at you.
Yes, we will look down the nose.
Unless you have a legitimate reason, doctor's note, whatever.
And I want to see it.
Yep.
Bracketchallenge.nhl.com. There will be a prize for numero uno on that. Again, hit up the Jerkman. He's got all them. You got any? Any more of those invites?
Dude, so in the 2 minutes since I posted the link, we've had 5 people sign up.
Nice.
Beautiful.
Dude. All right. So, I've already submitted mine. You've submitted yours. So I feel like you and I can share ours because they're already submitted. I don't know.
Sure.
Do we want to talk about what we've chosen? But we don't want to. Well, I guess it really doesn't matter because
we can. Let's talk about the first round, but kind of
it doesn't matter after that because I'm picked all the way through to the cup.
Right.
So it's that I didn't want to influence anybody's picks, but you know what? Hey, fuck it. It's you got to get better after that. So go ahead, Eastern.
Wait, you got to share. You got to share Ian's chat comment there.
What is it? Man, I have COVID and my picks are in. Get it together.
There it is.
Dude, the fact that he's like chilling on the couch or whatever in the office.
No, dude, he's locked up in the office.
Yeah, parked in the office with COVID. It's fucking after midnight. He's got his picks in and he's still paying attention to our nonsense. Dude, that's commitment right there.
Yeah.
Fucking it. There's a couple people that need to learn from that. Hey, now.
So
Eastern.
So are we saying series winner and games or just series winner?
Well, I think we need to go with games just because a couple of these series, I think it's going to be so obvious.
That's
like,
probably fair.
Like who the fuck is taking Washington in the first round? You know what I mean?
Somebody who
some hero. There's always a hero.
Well, I mean, I'm just saying, dude. But like, let's break it down. Think about it from a gambler's perspective. If you've got $10 to throw down on a plus 1,000, why not?
Yeah, but when it's, the odds of that happening are like, I get it because the payoff, and I'm just going, fuck out of here, dude. Not happening. Didn't Ovechkin like almost miss like photo day because he got injured? Like, nah. So
all right.
Florida versus Washington. This is
We're ripping through them.
Yeah, Florida versus Washington. This is 1 versus 8. If you go conference style, like I wish they would.
Yeah.
1 versus 8. I got Florida in 5.
I do as well.
All right then. Carolina.
Washington to be undone by their goaltending. Go ahead.
Ooh. Carolina versus Boston. This is 2 versus 6. Not 2 versus 7. 2 versus 6. You know what? I have Carolina in 7, and I know there are others that have Carolina in 6. I think there's one hero that has Carolina in 5. I really haven't seen anybody that has Boston. But the thing is, I'm going 7 just because, I don't want to go the whole sway man passing the test, but, dude, there's something about Boston that just scares the crap out of me.
I think Carolina in 6. I think, Boston will give them a run for their money, but, Boston's kind of struggled keeping up with the top teams this year, and I think, they might give Carolina a scare, but I think Carolina's going to take care of them pretty easily.
All right. Oh, dude, faulty synapse. Going Boston. We got a hero. All right. Next, Toronto, 3rd versus Tampa, 5th. I hate to break it to you, Leafs fans. I got to go Tampa, man. Tampa in 6. Like, I want to be a Toronto believer. I've got 2 Toronto jerseys hanging in my closet. I loves me some Mitch Marner. I'm here for it, but you know what? Until somebody knocks Tampa off, I'm on the Tampa train. In Toronto, you got to show me something, man. As long as Steve Dangle's in your corner, you guys have sucked.
I'm also saying Tampa in 6, just because Tampa has been the sleeping giant all year, and they finally woke up by ripping 22 goals off against Toronto, Florida, and Carolina. So they finally woken up, and I think in the Austin Matthews era, I think this Maple Leafs team is the best, but there's still some deficiencies they have that I think Tampa will exploit. So, like I said, I'm in the same boat as you. I've got Tampa Bay in 6.
Dude, faulty coming in, going, can I sway you the other way?
I can't believe Boston's going with Ullmark in Game 1. That's offensive to me.
You're right. Finally, in the East, it's Rangers in the 4th spot versus Penguins in the 7. I got Rags in 6. I feel like Penguins might be a paper tiger. Like, you can't discount a team that has Crosby and Malkin. I get that. I just feel like they passed their due date. And, dude, Shesterkin, Vezina, potentially Hart. Dude, Rags in 6.
Pittsburgh in 7, I think.
Fuck you. Are you serious?
Yep. For different reasons, I think these teams are very even. And it boiled down to
your. I cannot believe that you would besmirch Shesterkin like this.
I know. I love Igor, but I think these teams are very even in a lot of fronts. But I think ultimately, at the end of the day, if Pittsburgh can't score goals, I still think they can hang in there with the Rangers. But if the Rangers can't get saves, it's all over.
All right. So Okay. I feel on that. What the hell was the $5 bet on again?
The
it was
Sharks,
the record
the Sharks,
when they came back, right?
The Sharks winning 3 of 8 games.
You want to go double to nothing on the Rangers Penguins thing?
Sure. We let's not say games. Let's just keep it. I got Pittsburgh. You got the Rangers. Whatever the games are.
Sure. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Somebody jot that down in the chat. We got to know this. It's got to be pinned to a Twitter somewhere. All right. Let's move to the Western side. 1 versus 8. Colorado versus Dallas. I have Colorado in.
You mean Colorado versus Nashville?
Oh, did it switch? Did I pick up the wrong thing? Because I put this shit together like 2 days ago. Did it switch?
Yeah, it's Colorado Nashville.
Are you fucking serious?
Ooh.
Oh, I'm so
man.
bummed now.
Your cage is rattled, dude. What are you going to do?
Oh, dude, I am so rattled. Are you serious? That switched from when I put this together? Holy fuck, you're right. Oh, man, dude, I'm so upset now.
That means you got to submit your bracket, dude.
Oh, wait a minute. Hold on. That's the whole thing. How the fuck did I submit it if I swear to... All right, whatever. You know what? Fuck it. I'm staying with it. Colorado in 5. I want to say in 6 now because I initially had Colorado in 5 versus Dallas versus Nashville. I'm still... Dude, I just... Colorado to me is just such a wagon. And you had some guys miss some, whether it was Landeskog or McKinnon or whatever, they missed some time. Dude, they're going to come back, and I feel like they have a point to prove, especially after the last couple playoffs where they've been like shown the exit probably a little too early than they expected. You get Kemper in there, maybe also wants to like throw a big middle finger to Arizona and everything. Yeah, Colorado in 5.
Yeah, Colorado in 5 just because Colorado is so good. Even with the injuries and the COVID issues they've had this year, they've been so good. And I just think Nashville is punching up this year, and I think Colorado is just going to wax them.
Oh, shit. And Ian pointing out, they don't have Saros either?
Yeah, Saros is...
Oh, fuck, dude. I might go Colorado in 4 now.
Yeah, Saros is banged up. The last thing I read was that Game 1 is unlikely, but first round is still possible. That's the last thing I read.
Oh, man. See, this is what happens when you, like, take a day or two off after... When was the Sharks' last game? Friday? Yeah, okay. So, so I didn't pay attention at all on yesterday or today. And, man, how things have changed. Hold on, I have to pull up my bracket now. Edit bracket.
Yeah, it looks like as of 3 days ago...
Oh, it is Colorado, Nashville.
The word on the street was ankle sprain for UC Saros.
Oh, fuck, dude. Dude, that might be a walk. I might go in there and just...
Dude, they're going to get waxed.
Dude, yeah, I know, but I'm thinking that might be a sweep. You know? Like, you can... I mean, I'll give them 1 game just because of reigning... Or not reigning, but soon-to-be reigning Norris Trophy winner.
Yeah, man.
All right. Calgary versus Dallas. This is another one where I think it's going to be a very short series. Calgary in 5, and the only reason why I give Dallas one of those games is because fucking Robertson, man. God, I love Robertson. What I wouldn't give to have him on the Sharks. That kid is fucking fantastic.
I do think Calgary over Dallas as well. I think it's going to be in 6. I think...
Really? What?
Yeah.
What? Markstrom, bro? What are you talking about?
Yeah, but the way Dallas played to finish the year, I think they've got more than just 1 win in them. I think they got 2 wins
I would disagree. I would disagree in a big way just because Dallas, dude, I mean, you could not back up harder into the playoffs than Dallas did.
Sure. That's probably fair.
Yeah, I would disagree. I think Dallas wins 1 game maybe, and that's if Robertson, Hintz, Pavelski, they get hot. Maybe Heiskanen throws some shit in there. But they're a one-line team, bro.
Ryan, and Ryan, I don't know if he's still in the chat, but Ryan is going to tell you not to sleep on Jake Ottinger in net for Dallas.
Dude, I loves me some Otter, but again, this is a team. It's a one-line team. They backed into the playoffs. Like, they literally took the most difficult route to get in, and they still barely got in.
Sure, that's fair.
So, all right. Minnesota and St. Louis, which in my book is going to be the fucking best series of the first round.
Probably. I think, I hate to crap all over Minnesota Wild fans who finally feel like they've got a team that can get past the first round.
I mean,
but
you're walking into the team that has had the most success in the last 2 weeks.
Okay, correct. But St. Louis Blues.
No, I'm talking about the Blues.
No, I know. I'm taking St. Louis in 6 because and I know Minnesota's got Kaprizov, and he's very, very good. And they've got Fleury, they've got Cam Talbot, who've played very well in goal. But here, dude, St. Louis Blues score a bucket of goals. Like, I think they had 8 20-goal scorers this year.
They're a buzzsaw, but
They
playoffs are different.
They are different, but I still think that's in their favor. And I was feeling kind of cheeky on Discord last week, and I said St. Louis in 4, but I think that's a bit of an egregious statement to make. So I think it's going to be 6. And I hate to say it because one of my good buddies is a Minnesota Wild fan, but I still think they're not quite there.
All right, I'm interested to the chat. Everybody, we got like over 70 watching us live right now. I'm interested right now. Type in a name. I want to see MIN or STL. Who do you have in that playoff series? Because I may have to crowdsource my bracket because I have Minnesota in 7 right now, but you're kind of talking me into St. Louis. I still feel like it's gonna go 7. I feel like both of these teams are just, man, it's gonna be a great series. Like I feel like Toronto Tampa could be a lot of fun. But for me, Minnesota and St. Louis just has the hallmark of being, I don't know, if these guys go physical, it's going to be just kaboom. Let me see. We got St. Louis. We got a Wild in 7. All right, Logan, you're speaking my word. Minnesota. St. Louis.
Wow,
Minnesota.
okay.
Minnesota. Dude.
Holy crap. Okay, dude, it was
Oh, okay,
firmly-
hold on. Wait a minute. Okay, everybody putting that in. I don't want to hear who you want to win. I hear who you think is going to win.
Right, but
because everybody wants Minnesota to win.
But it's funny because you look at it like it was firmly in St. Louis's favor, and then it was even, and then it just blew up into Minnesota.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, I think I'm just gonna. You saw it on my on the notes before we started tonight. I had Minnesota at 7. I'm gonna stay there.
Sure. Well, yeah, you got to stick with your convictions, right?
Yeah. But sometimes I can be talked into. Somebody will like throw some new information my way. Like
I do agree with you.
Bennington's girlfriend broke up with him last week. Oh, fuck it, Minnesota and 6.
I do agree. I do agree with you though that of the 4 Western Conference series, that one I think will be the most compelling.
Absolutely. But the one I think could be second most compelling, number 5 Edmonton versus number 6 LA. Now,
man, I picked Edmonton over LA.
Fuck you.
However,
No. We talked about this at least a month and a half ago, maybe 2 months ago, when matchups were starting to come, and I, threw it to you in the DM, and I said, I'm taking Edmonton over LA, and I added all the other ones, and you're like, I agree with you on everything, but I'm taking LA. Now you're on Edmonton?
I am on Edmonton
You
because
motherfucker.
because they've been because I think even though LA is recovering from their injuries, I still think Edmonton is a better matchup against them. So I do think it is going to be Edmonton over LA. That said, this series, if you want my hashtag upset potential series, it's that one.
Oh, okay. So LA is your upset alert?
Yeah, I think Edmonton is going to win, but if LA ended up winning, I wouldn't be surprised, as much of a long shot as that is.
Well, see, obviously, I think LA has the better goaltending, right?
Yeah, that's probably fair. But Mike Smith is, dude, the ageless wonder, Mike Smith is playing hot right now.
See, that's the other thing. And again, it's Edmonton has been a bit of a wagon. That was, we talked a couple weeks ago.
LA doesn't have Doughty.
Well, yeah, of course, he's gone. But it was the idea of when we were talking, like, how much fun would it be to see Edmonton and Colorado go, because both of them are just so run and gun and can post a lot of goals. It's just the fact that Colorado has goaltending and Edmonton doesn't. Like,
right.
To me, that's going to be, if Edmonton does get bounced in the first round, and not to say that won't happen. I mean, how many rounds has Connor McDavid won? 1?
0.
No.
One.
One.
You're right.
Wasn't that versus the Sharks?
Yes, it was. You're right.
So there you go. So it's like he's won a single playoff series. And Will that change this year? I don't know. Is Kane going to be the straw that stirs the drink? Is he going to be the secret ingredient to get it over at least, get Connor McDavid one more playoff series under his belt? Well, who knows?
And I agree. I agree with what Ian said. Edmonton isn't long for this world, but they should beat LA.
They should. But here's my thing, though, and I told you this at the trade deadline. How fucking stupid were they to not get a goaltender at the trade deadline?
I mean,
it's like if
Edmonton was stupid to do a lot of things.
Yeah, but let's be honest, dude. They didn't get a goalie, and it's going to be their undoing in the playoffs. Like everybody is going to, they're going to look at Darnell Nurse and go, dude, badass. And I know there's been some speculation, dude. There's no way he's not fucking playing game one. So
no, the media interviewed him today, and they asked him, and he
tried to play coy, dude.
No, he basically winked at them and said, "We'll see."
Yeah, see, yeah. There's no way. Exactly my point. Yeah, there's no way he's fucking missing. So. Dude, you're going to have Draisaitl. You're going to have McDavid. I mean, you have Kane. There are some pieces on this
Zach
goddamn
Hyman.
team. Who?
Zach Hyman.
Who? But
no,
yeah.
You're right. This is, since in the McDavid era, this is the best group of forwards Edmonton has put out. But
yeah, it's going to be goaltending. How did they not get fucking...
sus.
Dude, how did they not go get Reimer?
Or anybody. I mean, their goaltending is sus, and their defense
anybody.
is sus.
Yeah. All right, so...
I think Edmonton wins the series, but if LA ends up winning, it wouldn't surprise me.
Okay, but how many games for Edmonton then?
6.
All right, as do I.
Yep.
Okay. All right, so that's it.
Well, really quickly, so we talked about the first round, and I know we're gonna kind of skip the second and third round, but do you want to say maybe our Stanley Cup Final and leave the winner out, or do you want to say our winner, or do you just want to move on?
I'm fine doing my final and my winner. I don't think it's going to be out of the ordinary for anybody.
Sure.
Are you willing to do the same?
Yeah, whatever.
All right. Who's first, me or you?
Go for it.
My Stanley Cup Final, it's say hello to 1996, my little friend.
Wow, really?
Yeah, I've got Colorado, Florida. Now, a lot of people will sit there and go, well, yeah, okay, take the number one out of the East and the number one out of the West. Wow, big fucking stretch. Don't kill yourself falling off that limb that you're out on. Yeah.
Right.
No, I feel you, but again, Colorado, just a wagon.
Yep.
Now, I feel like no matter what, it's going to come down to Colorado and Calgary in the Final Four.
That's my Western Conference Final.
All right. In the East, I've got. Again, dude, I am so on the Shesterkin train. I've got Florida and New York as my final.
Wow.
Yeah. I feel, and again, when it comes to the West, and this is just the way I've always been, when it comes to the West, I play my mind.
Sure.
When it comes to the East, I play my heart. It's like, I really want Florida and New York to go all the way, and I want Florida. Do you understand how many transplants there are that moved from New York to Florida? Just that right there. The juxtaposition right there would be hysterical. But, dude, I'm pulling for Jumbo to win the whole thing, so I got Florida over Colorado.
We'll see if Jumbo even plays a part in their championship run.
Don't care as long as he plays one game, right, in the playoffs? That's all that matters to get his name on there?
One in the playoffs or half of the regular season.
Oh, shit. Did he play half this regular season?
Well, it's either or. It's not both.
Yeah, I know, but I'm just wondering, did he, satisfy that requirement? I don't know that he did. He
played 34.
No. So, no. Okay, so he's got to play one game. All right. Well, dude, when you get up 3-0 on Washington, put Jumbo in for that fourth game.
Yeah, half of the regular season game. Let's see. It says half of the regular season games or one game of the Stanley Cup Final.
Oh, yeah. Oh, the final. Oh, shit. Well, I guess we'll see what happens. Let's hit a few comments before we get to yours.
They can also, if he doesn't meet that criteria, though, the Florida, and say the Panthers win, they can also petition the NHL to make a special exemption for them.
And they would have to. I mean, give me a fucking break.
If they didn't, there would be riots in the streets of San Jose.
Oh, dude, Iman making a good point here that has nothing to do with the words fact or fiction. I love this. Stuart Skinner is Edmonton's best goalie. And
he's their black ace.
Dude, that's what I'm saying. He could be the thing that no one's thinking about when it comes to this. That could
They're
be
not starting him.
I know, but I'm just saying that could be the difference. Dude, if Smith shits the bed first 2 games, if they don't go to Skinner, they're stupid.
Sure.
Dude.
Although
like
they got Mikko Koskinen as well, though.
Oh, yes, but Iman, good call out. I forgot about that.
So check this out.
Hold on. Let's
okay. Go ahead.
Hit the chat. Mikey J. LA has Kopitar and Danault, 2 great checking centers.
Sure.
All right, so I guess that tips the things in Jerk's favor.
I think Florida's forwards are still better than LA's.
Florida.
Or I'm sorry, Jesus. Edmonton's forwards are still better than LA's.
Is Nurse still injured? Wink. No. Mike Smith has been .915 this season. Well,
he's been very good.
Yeah, he's been pretty good, but you're going to need better than that in the playoffs. Right. Faulty says same as me. Cool. Danault was such a great get for LA. Absolutely, completely agree. And Ian has the same West Finals. So yeah, I don't feel like we're really out on a limb on these.
Well, so okay, you ready for this?
Uh-oh. Well, you got an upset in your back pocket? What are you doing there?
So I, too, have Colorado in the Stanley Cup Final like you do.
Hey now. Oh, let me see if I can guess your other one.
Losing.
No. Oh.
No. You have to let me say it. Losing.
I want to see if I can predict it.
Okay, fine.
Losing to Tampa.
Yes, sir.
Do I know my jerk man or do I know my jerk man?
3-peat is coming. 3-peat is coming. Here's the thing. Look at this. Here's the thing. Florida, Toronto. And you can say the same about Colorado and Calgary, but I think this applies to Florida and Toronto specifically. I think one of 2 things is going to happen with them. They're either going to run the table all the way to the final, or they're going to get waxed very early on. And that's why I have Toronto losing in round 1 to Tampa, and I've got Florida losing in round 2 to Tampa.
Oh, shit. All
Tampa,
right.
Like I said earlier, Tampa is the sleeping giant.
Dude, did I call that or what, bro?
You did. Well, it's kind of an easy call.
Oh, just because of the last 2 years, especially last year, dude, we threw you up there with a fucking Bolt shirt in front of Amalie Arena.
Dude, I was there.
That's what I'm saying. All right, so you've got our picks for the first round. Again,
and once I should say, once the playoffs start, if you're part of the Bracket Challenge League, once the playoffs start, everybody's bracket will become publicly viewable. So if you want to make fun of your friends, go for it.
Yeah, take screenshots, put them on Twitter. If you want to make fun of me, to screenshot my bracket.
Same.
And just be like, AJ, really? Yeah, no problems. So again, Teal Town Bracket Challenge. We are going to come up with some prizes to give away. So, like top 3 finishers that are not a part of the, the puck guy, jerk, AJ, Landy variety, everybody else. So everybody outside that, we're going to have some prizes. Bracketchallenge.nhl.com. Search Teal Town USA podcast.
Here, I'll share the link again.
Share the link in there. But for those that are not on the YouTube, hit that up, or at hockey_jerk on Twitter. He'll hook you up with that invite. But if you go to the website, search Teal Town USA podcast, you should be able to find it. There you go. Enjoy. All right.
Let's see really quick. How many people do we have now? 72. Okay, so when I first posted the bracket challenge link, we had 19 people in the challenge.
Yes,
now
sir.
we've got 35 now.
Nice.
Yeah, so keep
it coming. Tell a friend.
Now, what will the prizes be? Who knows? But you want the chance to win one.
Oh, hell yeah.
We don't know what it is, but you want it.
What it is. All right, so we talked about this, I believe, last week. The Teal Together jerseys that were from Fan Appreciation Night versus the Blackhawks last weekend. I need a way to give these away. So
okay.
Jason, hold on. Jason Lennon won. What did Jason Lennon win? There's a jersey. Oh, it was Sharky's birthday jersey. And I have to apologize. I haven't been able to get to the post office this last week. Work has been a bear, and unfortunately the post office in my neck of the woods not open on Saturdays or Sundays. But Jason Lennon, you will, in fact, get your jersey. I guarantee it. It's just going to take a little bit longer. Act like FedEx shipped it. Then you're going to be fine with how long it took to get it.
So, do you have a pool of names?
I have nothing.
Okay, well, if everybody wants to stake their claim for this jersey,
I just don't want it to be a something that you can easily Google. I mean, I'm willing to.
Oh, you're thinking about doing a question. I was going to say just throw everybody's names in a random wheel.
I could do that. I mean, I don't know. We've got like 70 people watching. I don't know if you want to hurriedly write down 70 names. Sure. I don't know where you're going to get them from.
Well, here's the thing. If anybody who wants to play. It's oh my god! It's 9:30. Okay,
that's what I'm saying. We still have to do his Discord.
Well, yeah, yikes. Okay. Well, this is our last. It's our last show of the night, so I feel like we got to do it. Or last show of the night, last show of the year, so we got to do it.
I'm just trying to come up with a nice, even way to toss these out. I don't know, but I want it to be fun. Like I almost feel like okay. Who has a really quick joke that they can, fit into so many characters?
Or what if we...
whatever makes me laugh the hardest.
Or what if... The only thing I can say is what if we put out like a question and then whoever in the chat can answer it first is the winner?
But it can't be a Google, a question that you can easily Google.
I got one. Okay. And shout out to PJ.
See.
PJ gave me the idea for it. Guess the Barabanov extension. Whoever's closest without going over, the jersey's yours.
Oh, I love this.
Send them to who do we send your pics to? Should we email? Do we have an email we can send it to? You want to DM someone on Twitter? How do you want to do this?
No, to you, sir. You're collecting this. It's your question.
Okay.
You collect it.
Okay, I'm going to. Okay.
Right there.
If you want to enter for the jersey, send your prediction for the Barabanov contract, and even if it's not with the Sharks, it could be with another team.
Yeah, as long, if you say 2.8 by 3, and it's and it's 2.785 by 3.
Yeah, we'll do some finagling.
Yeah.
Send your Barabanov contract prediction, whether it's with the Sharks or someone else. Send it to my burner email. It's in the chat. And
well, you got to say it for the people that aren't,
hockeyjerk10@gmail.com.
All right. That's all one word, no underscores in this.
Correct.
Hockeyjerk10.
Years and the cap hit.
Yes.
So, for example, and this is just a random, this is not my answer, just a number.
Hypothetical.
6 years, $4 million a year. That's not my pick. That's just the format we're looking for.
Yeah. Years and AAV.
There you go.
All right. Dig it.
And when will we... I mean, I guess we have to wait till he signs, right?
Yeah.
So this is going to be...
wait till he signs. And once he signs, obviously a lot of people that are, with us right now, they're pretty savvy when it comes to the interwebs. Hey, just follow at Tealtown USA. When that Barabanov contract comes down the pipe, we will tweet it out, and part of that will be tweeting out, and the winner is...
Right, and in your email to me, include your Twitter handle as well.
Please. Or Twitter handle or full name if you don't have a Twitter handle.
Yeah,
well, that's the whole... oh, no, you'll be able to...
here's the thing.
You'll be able to email them back when they get it.
Twitter handle, or if you don't have a Twitter, we'll email you back.
All right, but okay, so I dig it, but that's for one jersey.
Oh no,
I have two.
Oh man,
right? What do I do with the second?
The Ferraro extension.
Dude, that's gonna be tougher. What, dude? What if the same person gets both? That would be great.
Hey, you know what? Hold
on. Hockeyjerk10@gmail.com.
Yes.
Chris, stop it. Stop. We're trying to be good with this. Hockeyjerk10@gmail.com. So there you go. I love this. I fucking love this, dude, because this is not
huge.
Something. It's huge. This is something you can't Google. This is something.
I've already got one email. I'm not going to say from who. But...
Beauty. All right. So predict the Barabanov contract, term, and money. Same thing for Ferraro. Remember, he's an RFA. Okay. Well, they're both RFA, right?
No, Barabanov is a UFA.
Oh, that's yeah. No. Yeah, you right. So Barabanov, UFA.
And in the subject line, like this, I'm not going to say who sent this to me,
Who?
but the person who sent this to me, they put in the subject, they put Barabanov. So just specify, if if you want to enter Barabanov, put Barabanov in the subject. If you want to do Ferraro, put
Or do
Ferraro
them
in the
both.
subject.
Do them
If you want
both.
to enter both, just slap them both in one email. We don't discriminate.
Yeah, subject line, Jersey giveaway, Pucknologists.
Yeah.
Something like that. So, yeah.
This might be our
the
most
guy.
interactive giveaway yet.
Dude, I love this. I fucking love this. And we will have something to give away on the first show of the season this year. Shall I say, have my fingers in a few different pies. But I plan to have something very significant on the table. Might it be a jersey? Perhaps.
No way to know for sure.
No way to know for sure. Might it be a made in Canada jersey?
Hey, now.
Might it be an AJ custom?
Hey, now.
Dude, Hockey Jerk does not even have an AJ custom.
Really quickly.
What's that?
So shout out couple loyal followers, Like a Tiger, Moz Morris. They want to know.
Love them.
They want to know, will we ship to Australia?
Ooh. Okay. If you win, look, I'm more than willing to send you the jersey, like fill out the forms. I'm sorry. Outside of the U.S., you're going to have to cover the freight.
How much is that? I'm very
That's
curious.
probably going to be in the neck of the woods of like $30-ish.
Okay.
Yeah. For that, I'm sorry. I'll throw you in a but hey, I'll throw you a couple Teal Town USA drink coasters. Maybe I'll throw you in a little something extra, but yeah, sorry on that one. We'll eat the freight for North America if you win. Outside of North America, then we start to run into problems. I have to fill out custom forms. I have to stand in line. It's a whole to-do. Like, we want to make it cool and everything. Hold on. Are you telling me Moz is not in North America?
No.
Wow. Holy crap, dude. I figured he was Bay Area. For as hard as he carves some of the broadcasting people, I just assumed he was, like, in the area. Anyway, so, yeah, if you're...
Ooh, look at Tiger. Tiger got the U.S. mailing address.
Oh, shit. Okay.
I don't know how often he gets to check that, but...
Dude, I'm going to start sending shit through Tiger. Hey, now. So, yeah, if you're outside of North America, you know what? Wait until you win, and then we'll get into the logistics of getting it to you, okay? But anyway, we got a couple jerseys here tucked away for that. Again, Jason, apologies for getting you yours, but it will be there. Let me let you know. Let's finish off some stuff here. Dark Horses. Come on, how do you not love this? We've been playing this fucking game all day long. Jerk, you lost.
I know. That's okay.
92 points for the Canucks.
Hey, you know what? They made it close, though.
Closer than I think we all thought, because let's be honest, before the Boudreau bump, dude, everybody was like, oh my God, dude, Seattle raced to the bottom. So to see them come back the way that they did, there seemed to be a pep in Pettersson's step. Like, there's some stuff there. Dude, I'm still a believer in guys like Horvat and Besser.
Yep.
Like, dude, there's a reason why it's called You Got Dem Code.
Well, and also, I don't want to speak too much on it because it's none of our business, but, it did come out that Besser was dealing with some personal stuff this year, which could have affected things.
Nice.
Yeah, I guess. Not nice. Like, I think his dad is really sick. So.
Oh, shit. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, then yeah. When the personal stuff creeps in, yeah, you never want that. All right.
Yeah.
So, but either way, not very often am I able to like sit here and go, over a Hockey Jerk. This is one of those times where I got it right.
And you know what? We
When's
made
my
these...
parade? Give me my whistle and my baton.
Well, and we made those predictions, 7.5 months ago?
Dude, yeah.
So credit to us for sticking with it.
Dude, I'm saying it. Let's see here. We're not going to rehash tweet of the week because, boom, already did that. Let's see what we got here. So, finally, to get into this, a look ahead. Can you, at this point right now, can you see Couture, Eklund, and Dahlin as the top line? Would you project somebody else up there? Obviously, Hurdle and Meyer have been something that has worked pretty well along with Barabanov, so I don't know that I would touch that line. And then you go down further, and right now it shows Balcers, Bonino, LeBanc. I think at this point you would drop Bonino. I don't want to say drop it. Maybe you put Bonino up there with Couture and Eklund, and you've got Bordeleau centering the third line with Balcers and LeBanc.
Well, if you put Bonino up with Couture, you wonder what happens with Dahlin. You wonder what goes on with Noah Gregor.
I think dude, I think like Dahlin, Gregor, and Reedy might be the fourth line next year.
Which, if
not
the
horrible.
Sharks, well, here's the thing: if the Sharks have that balanced of an attack, I'm down for it. Like a Dahlin, Reedy, Gregor fourth line, I'm down with it. But my only concern is Bob or new
Whoever.
coach. Are they going to be able to balance all the ice time in a way where everybody can make an impact?
I will tell you, dude,
because Jonathan Dahlin playing 9 minutes a night is useless.
When I look at those lines, you know what it kind of reminds me of a little bit?
What?
First season for Vegas, where it's like,
yeah,
not having a number one line and a two and then no, we're going to have 4 second lines.
Right.
It has a very similar vibe to that. If they can get, a little more from the blue line, if Vlasic ends up being the highest paid 7th defenseman in the league, so be it.
Hatika?
Dude, I still if it's going to be Ferraro Burns, you know what? Let's say that they get rid of Burns. They find a taker. They get on fucking what is it? What's the service that says it's a match at the top?
Tinder.
Yeah. So they find, they do some swiping with Burns and Dallas, it's a match, and they figure out something. They get Burns out of here. So what's your top pair? Carlson and Knyzhov? Carlson and Ferraro?
In a perfect world, Carlson and Knyzhov, but I think Knyzhov is going to start next year with the Barracuda.
As he should, after having, like a year and a half off.
Yeah, so I would say probably either Ferraro Carlson or probably Ferraro Carlson.
and if Bob is here, it's going to be Magna or Milosh and Carlson.
No.
You fucking know it, dude. But if that's okay, say that status quo along the blue line. It's going to be Burns, Ferraro. It's going to be Carlson, Knyzhov. It's going to be Vlasic. What? Shimmick?
Vlasic, Hatika.
So Shimmick is
Shimmick and Milosh can battle it out to be the 7th defenseman, and then I think you.
But if you want to send either of those down, they have to clear.
Who's claiming them?
I know. I'm just pointing out the obvious.
Right, but so I think.
So that means Magna's down, Hatika's down, but the biggest
Sharks...
one, Merkley, is down.
Oh, okay. You know what? I totally jammed myself up there. Let's start over.
Rewind.
Let's start over. It's so, and this is assuming we're keeping Burns, right? The Sharks are keeping Burns, right?
Sure.
So, Ferraro Burns, Knyzhov Carlson, and then Vlasic Merkley. And I know. And I would say, as much as I want Hatika to be in the NHL, I think top line with the Barracuda to start is better than being the Sharks' 7th defenseman.
Oh, yeah, because you're going to actually see ice.
Yeah, and then so the 7th defenseman for the Sharks, either Shimmick or Milosh, and then Magna, I think if you re-sign him, he goes back to being the Barracuda's captain.
I feel like the Sharks, for all the talk about moving Burns, I think it'll probably be an easier move to move Shimmick. I think that's probably the deal that ends up getting done.
Burns will get you something in return.
Absolutely, but I think
at this point, Shimmick is a future considerations thing.
Yeah, granted. I still think Shimmick can be a decent 5-6 for the right team, but
sure,
it's the cost is marginal. Maybe you eat $1 million on that deal. It's all about freeing up space to get somebody else in. You know what I mean?
Sure.
It's about freeing up that space. So I would sit here and say the likelihood of Šimik being gone next season it's more likely than Burns.
Yeah,
But,
that's probably fair.
yeah.
Because
It's going to be the easier move.
I think the Šimik contract is not bad, except for the fact that he's one of the scratch guys. He's not a regular guy.
Right.
And I think if he was a regular guy, it's fine. But because it's a scratch guy, you don't want your scratch guys making almost $3 million.
You don't? I'm so confused. All right. So I think we might have come to the end of our longest show ever. Fantastic. What is it? 2 hours, 45 minutes?
Before we set a new views record for the fourth time in 5 weeks.
And now, before 3 hours, pikers. Love it. So I just want to say thanks so much for riding with us this season. As Jerk just alluded to, for whatever reason, it's for me, I think it's called the jerk bump, but for whatever reason, our views for the Pucknologist every Sunday have increased dramatically over the last 4 to 5 weeks. I thank you so much for that. If we can keep that rolling or increase it, I would love it. It's just, oh my God, this is just so cool. I can't explain it, which I think makes it a little cooler. But I just thank everybody who joins us every Sunday. Thank you guys so much. We try to have a good time here. We try to give our honest takes, our non-sugar-coated takes. Whether we agree or not, it's all good. We're all friends at the end, and can have a beer and shoot the shit about anything else. But I'm just so happy that the way that this entire season went, not for the Sharks, but for Jerk and I, over the Pucknologists, and I feel like it's only going to get better next season. We maybe we bring the soundboard back. Haven't had that the entire season. Maybe we incorporate a little more video, give you a little more clips next season, like we did tonight with the Logan and EK and Vlasic stuff, to provide a little more context. But I'm just so tickled the way that this season has gone. And, a show like tonight went 2 hours, 45 minutes. I don't know about you, Jerk. Felt like maybe hour and a half.
Yeah, it flowed by very quickly. And I had the horse eye on the, live watchers, and maybe some people got bored. They're like, oh my God, wrap it up. And that's fine.
Sure.
But,
dude, 2 hours, 45. Yeah, I'd be going after 20 minutes of me jabbing, my wife is like, wrap it up.
Yeah, but 60 people still watching right now, almost 3 hours in. Like, that means something.
Hell yeah! Oh, Laurel floating it out, guest host next season. Maybe we bring somebody into jibber jabber for like 10-15 minutes. I think that that's an interesting idea. Maybe we or just grab Ian once he's back among the living. We get him in. Maybe a green screen for AJ. What, you don't like my backgrounds? What the hell? Maybe I'll do that. Maybe I'll change my background for next season. Who knows? Because we can change Jerk's background any old time we please. So anyway, thank you guys so much for riding with us this season. It means more than you know. Again, if you haven't subscribed, please do. Hit the notification bell. You don't have to, but at least it'll let you know when we're going. But hey, it's us, which means that Sunday night, 7:00. There you go. That's the alarm. We gotta go, everybody. Thanks. We gotta go. You okay there, Jerk? Oh,
I think somebody in the building pulled the fire alarm.
Oh, you hate when that happens. All right, so this is gonna be a quick in and out. All right. So anyway, thank you guys so much for joining. We're gonna have some different shit for you next season. We always want to keep constantly evolving with this and make it entertaining. So that when it's 7:00, it's Sunday, you're like, hey, those two slapdicks are talking Sharks. I got to go see what the hell they're gonna pull out of their ass this week. That's what we hope for. You join us, crack open a cold one, and just like sit there and make fun of whatever happened in Sharks hockey that week. And hopefully next season we have a bit more wins to talk about and maybe the show lasts a bit longer, like say into May and maybe a little bit further. So oh man, see, I spewed on and I just prattled until somebody sent a super chat, and there's Like a Tiger coming in hot. All right, Like a Tiger, stay on 4 hours, cowards. Come join us on Discord, brother. I don't know. What is $22 Australian? What is that? Like $1.50 American? I don't know. But I love that, dude. Tyga's been with us for a long time, and that's the whole thing. I've seen a few new names tonight. Welcome in. Glad that you're here, but also want to, the stick taps to obviously, Laurel, who's been ride or die with us for forever. Like a Tyga, PJ, Mikey, Anthony, I see on here. I've seen that person before on here. Faulty Synapse, of course. Iman's been here forever. Logan, Teal, Ricky, Avocado. A lot of you people have been with us in on the regular. Hot Wheels, Julio. If I see a couple new names and maybe it's new to me, I apologize if you've been here before, but looks like Rizzo. So anyway, okay. So $22 Australian is $15.50. All right. Nice. But yeah, anybody new to the show, I apologize if I didn't get to you, but there's also the regulars that are here. Become a regular if you're new here, join the likes of Skylar and Ian and Shoeshine and Seabrook and Bozosaurus. We're a good bunch of douches. And when we're not here, we hang out on Discord. So by all means, join us. Thanks again for being a part of this. Jerkman, I was vamping, hoping that your fire alarm ended. Is it still going? Well, I think the fact that there was no response there tells you all you need to know. So thanks everybody for hockey at hockey_jerk. I hope that Hockey Jerk is safe. That fire alarm going off is a little disconcerting, but for at hockey_jerk, I'm AJ_strong. Hope you had a fantastic week, a fantastic weekend. Thank you much for spending the last part of your weekend with us. And we're out of here. We'll see you now. When I say that, of course, there will be the draft. There will be a new GM when the smoke goes off above SAP Center when they announce a new GM. There's going to be a lot of stuff. There's the draft. There's the draft lottery, free agent frenzy, NHL awards, including ours, by the way. We're going to have some awards. New jerseys, a tour of the new CUDA arena. Basically, when Sharks news breaks, we're here to fix it. So keep an eye out us. Keep an eye out on us. But for that, when it comes to Pucknologists, we gone. We will see you in October, but there will be some part of us that lingers on during the rest of the spring and summer. Hope you guys have a beautiful and fortuitous spring and summer, but we will catch you all in October. Once again, thanks for joining us. Have an incredible summer, an incredible off season that brings you everything that you actually want. As long as it doesn't require a coupon code or is on Fanatics, we're all good. Good night, everybody.